I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it, asshole?
Don't be afraid. Just an asshole.
What are you going to do about it, asshole? What are you going to do about it, asshole?
All right. Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend, Mr. BDA, flying solo for the moment only. Fellas, thank you for joining us. We got a fantastic show for you tonight, this evening, I should say. Already started snowing over here in Canada. That's where we're at in the year right now. But you know what? We're not here to talk about the weather. Guys, before we get down to the fun, let's get the business out of the way. You get a couple of shekels that you can send our way. You can certainly do that via the super chat feature during the YouTube chat here, the YouTube stream, or you can donate via the YouTube PayPal page, the PayPal page, or the Patreon page. But the most important thing is that you continue to support this show by hitting the likes, hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing if you haven't done so already, and generally just spreading the BDA gospel. That's all you got to do. Because there's still a lot of heathens out there and a lot of unbelievers that really do need a talking to. So you fellas out there, you know what to do. Now, look, speaking of the people out there, talking about Stephen Lawler, Crazy K, Blues Boxing, KRO, Wesley M, Padja, Mancrower, St. Brit Sports, shout out to St. Brit, Ignorant Boxing, Cerny Banders, Deontay's Fat Cheeseburger Nation, and many more people to come, I'm sure. Thank you, fellas, for joining us. Any of the regular panelists, hit me up if you need a link. You know what? While I'm here, for some reason, I think I'm sounding a little bit low. I don't like the way I'm sounding here. Give me 2 seconds here. Hold on a second. Maybe I'll play some of my patented gospel music. Testing 1, 2. Oh, just about the same. Huh. All right. Well, I suppose we'll take care of that later. Maybe boost up the volume just a little bit here. Don't want to sound too hot. Look, in the news, what do we got in the news, man? We got Dubois versus Joyce on Saturday. Before that, though, Friday, we got Daniel Jacobs taking on Gabriel Rosado. Not a bad fight, man. It's a little interesting fight. I mean, Rosado always comes to fight. That we know that. He's not exactly in Jacobs' league. Jacobs is much better. He's proven that against some of the top opposition. But Rosado brings it. And I've seen worse fights, man. The other thing is that in that undercard, we are going to be having... Who's the prospect that's fighting? I can't... These freaking names from the Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, all the stands, they all get weird names. What's his name? Magomedrasul Majidov. Is that the guy? Oh, no, I'm talking about Yelusinov taking on Julius Indongo. Should be an interesting one. All these Kazakh fighters, man, and a lot of prospects in the welterweight division. That's in the welterweight division, by the way. Should be interesting. All right, hold on a second. Give me 2 seconds here. Yeah, man, because I'm curious for the Joyce versus Dubois fight. I'm getting excited for that one, fellas. I'm getting excited for that one. So give me your predictions right now, man, in the chat room. I'm curious to see what the overall layout is for this fight, because I've been hearing some people saying, look, the bookies have Dubois as the favorite, okay? But Joyce seems to be the fan favorite. Not necessarily just because most people are rooting for the guy, because Dubois is sort of seen as like the establishment type fella, but a lot of people think Dubois just ain't that good and that he's gonna end up being outlasted in that fight. Also, there's people who are doubting his punching power. Now, I don't know much about that, but look, we got Joyce over here, 6'6". Now, remember, fellas, BDA's law, all right? If BoxRec gives you a height, deduct at least an inch from that height, from that measurement. Then we got Daniel Dubois, who is supposed to be, by the way, crikey, come on. Actually, you know what? Let me just, for some reason lately, BoxRec doesn't really allow you to check out the records unless you're subscribed or you get an account. And I got enough accounts with enough databases, the porn database, the firearms database. I do not need to create another account with another database. 6 feet, 5 inches tall. He's 23 compared to Joyce, who's 35. But look, Joyce has certain attributes that are going to make this difficult for Dubois. He's very confident, something you can't buy, confidence. He's got a good work rate, and he's got a little craft in there too. Dubois, though, well-schooled for the most part. He can punch, or at least against the opposition he's fought so far, he's displayed punching power. And he wants it too. He's probably confident too going in there. But, you know, he could knock out Kevin Johnson, who has, by the way. He went 12 rounds against the guy to win the distance. I'm excited, man. I don't know who to pick. I could see Joyce eating some bombs early and then just outlasting Dubois, hitting him here, kind of like a O'Neal Bell versus Jean-Marc Mormec. You remember that Jean-Marc Mormec fight in 2006? Mormec was landing bombs, booming shots on O'Neal Bell, and Bell just took him. He got, pushed aside, torn aside. He looked like he was going to be stopped. Every punch was moving him. He just kept taking the punishment, slapping here, slapping there, and before you knew it, Mormec was tired. Bell was coming on, and the fight was stopped. Bell won. So I could see some sort of like a sloppy affair, that type of fight. Type of sloppy ending there. But then again, I could also see Dubois starting fast early, landing the cleaner punches, and then Joyce coming late, and then Dubois just getting a second win and banking on the early rounds he took, winning a couple of the late ones, and boom, he's got a decision. Let's see what people are saying. Let me check out the predictions here. I'm sure my sister is happy. Okay, Iceman says Dubois. Wesley M says Dubois, 6-round KO. SSB says late KO Dubois. Ignorant Boxing, Dubois by nuke to the face. Stephen Lawler says, I got Dubois, 7-round stoppage. Sonny says Joyce by knockout. All right, so Sonny appears to be one of the few people. Box, okay, hold on a second. BOKS says Joyce schools Dubois and then KOs him. Benito Carbone says Joyce in 2. Triple D for me. I don't know what the hell. Is that your tits, your breast measurements there? Triple D. I was going for Joyce, says Jordan Chiampini. I was going for Joyce late, but the doubters on young DD. Oh, Daniel Dubois. That's what it's Triple D. Make him score a brutal first round knockout. Jeez, Luis. Or maybe Dubois in 3, says Benito. Sonny says Dubois hasn't been hit by a clean punch. Actually, he has against that fat man. Gorman. Caught him with a couple of good left hooks and maybe a right uppercut in the beginning. But I don't know how good a puncher Gorman was. So kind of difficult to tell here. Rich Kurek says Dave Allen is king. Yeah, maybe in his own mind. BOKS is not, I don't remember that fight. Dave Allen is the king of bums. KO says Frank Bruno for the knockout. Oh yeah, that's what. Listen, some people were saying that Joshua, not just Dubois, because some people are saying, Dubois is like he's sort of like the what's his name? I just read the name for Pete's sakes. My gosh darn memory, man. Frank Bruno. Some people are saying Joshua was just another Frank Bruno, a guy who looks good physically, but that can't just go that far. But hey, Joshua compared to Dubois, it's just another level. By the way, I got King Bucho here joining me. Bucho, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me properly? Because I for some reason, I think I'm sounding low or something. Yeah, sound good? All right, fantastic. I'm talking about the Dubois-Joyce fight, and I'm getting interested in it, man. When it was announced, I was like, all right, we'll catch it when it happens. But now I'm looking forward to it, man. It's 2 undefeated fighters putting it on the line. I know Joyce has really no choice because, he's the older guy. But Dubois is taking a chance. They could have matched him in there against a couple of more tomato cans, but no, they're going after an undefeated guy who looks to be dangerous. What are your thoughts on this fight, Bucho?
No, sad. I lost the last. I couldn't
What
hear
are,
what
what
you
are
said.
your thoughts on this fight?
I think it's a good fight. Listen, Dubois, whether you like it or not, is the future of the division, and he's the future because there's no other heavyweights that are actually look like they could be the future. I mean, there's Hergovich, but I mean, let's be honest. How popular can this guy be? And he might. No, he's part of the future, I believe, but I don't think he is the future in the sense that he can't become a Lennox Lewis, a Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Dubois can. So, I mean, I'm interested in this fight just because of that, because it is the future of the sport. And by the way, this guy is still young. So, like you said, Frank Warren could have fed him to more bombs or tomato cans, but they're actually stepping it up and they're putting him against Joe Joyce. So, listen, give the guy credit as well.
This fight reminds me a little bit of Joshua versus Dylan White. Guys being pit tough early on, both taking a chance, both putting it on the line, knowing that there's bigger and better things ahead. That's what I like to see, man. Because over there in England, look at what happened with Dylan White and Joshua. All right, Dylan White got knocked out impressively. It made all the rounds on the internet and on Twitter and all that. But did his career really suffer that much? I mean, yeah, he never really got a Joshua rematch or a big fight against Fury or Wilder, but it's not like he was relegated to the bench and fighting off TV or whatever. He made some good money, a couple of pounds in there. Buys you
a contender, successful contender.
Absolutely. So in England, it seems like they got more of a willingness to just put it on the line, man. Meanwhile, here in the United States, a loss. And guess what, man? The fucking fans
Wilder's
don't help.
career, man. Look at Wilder's career. Was Wilder fighting Joe Joyce at the? Well, I know his career is different than Dubois. He didn't have an amateur background.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, for the longest of time, Wilder was fighting basically nobody's. And I know people are going to get mad. Oh, you're hitting Wilder. But it's the truth. And Dubois is stepping it up at the right age. Good move.
I agree, man. I agree. By the way, Bucho, people are saying Maradona croaked today.
What?
Maradona croaked. He's dead.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's a shame.
He's gone. He's gone. I think it was the drugs, heart attack, 6 years old. I mean, at some point, all that drug abuse takes a toll on you.
Yeah, man. Now, I tell you what, man. People are thinking that the general feeling here is that Dubois is not going to be able to handle Joyce's pace and his intensity, or not the intensity overall, but the long-term intensity that he brings. I see we got Gonzalo on the line on the Discord. Gonzalo, you there?
Hey, how's it going, BDA?
Good, Gonzalo. Good, Gonzalo. Thank you for being on, man. Look, I was talking earlier about Dubois versus Joyce. Gonzalo, it seems like the last time so many people were in agreement on two outcomes was for the Lopez-Lomachenko fight, where people said it's either Lomachenko late or Lopez early, and it ended up being a completely different fight than most people expected. This is the same thing with Joyce Dubois. It's either Dubois early or Joyce late. What do you think about that? How do you see this fight going?
That's true. That's true. If he can overcome, if Joyce can overcome Dubois' initial assault, where he's going to be more explosive and bring that power and can weather the storm, his consistent pressure along with his durability will be the test in the second half for the other guy, for Daniel Dubois. So it starts favoring the other guy, I think, as further as the fight progresses. So it's an interesting dynamic where two guys got a chance, but one guy's got a better chance earlier to start racking up the points and maybe get the knockout, while the other guy has a greater opportunity as the fight advances. So that's interesting. It's a good fight. Daniel Dubois largely improving. The other guy got more experience, although he's older and it's got the lesser of the fights. I mean, he was a good amateur, so it's interesting. It's interesting. You got the younger guy against the older guy, but they're still both like in their prime. One at the tail end maybe, and one just in the beginning. And I do like the fight, like you said. It's those fights where they're being pitted against each other. Where this is the type of fights that I like to see. I remember that one fight between Jose Ramirez versus Amir Imam. Those are the type of fights I like too. So, when they're at a crossroads between two contenders trying to move forward and the other maybe not so much, but still, I mean, he's got an opportunity. But regardless of who loses, I mean, the guy that wins, yes, he's got a brighter future. But you can't feel too bad for the loser. But that's just the way it is sometimes. We want to see these type of fights, and fighters don't want to risk this sometimes. And that's a shame on boxing, but so that's why I gotta be glad for this weekend.
Well, like I said, also it's Joyce has no choice. Joyce has no choice. That rhymes. In fighting Dubois, I mean, he's already 35. So if he's gonna make something happen, he's gotta do it now. But stylistically, a lot of people are saying that Dubois, based off of his musculature and the fact that he's never really had to go 12 hard rounds, will probably not be able to resist Joyce's pace. Now, the thing is this. Joyce has a better resume. He beat Brian Jennings by decision. He knocked out Stiverne, who really did look awful, by the way, in that fight. Horrible shape. I think even worse than the second Wilder fight, but if that's possible. But hey, look, a win's a win. And he's got a good pace, good body punching. And he's the type of guy that, somebody said it correctly the other day. They said in a message board, they said, with Joyce, he's so slow and he appears to be hittable and he tends to hypnotize guys. And then by the third, fourth round, they realize, oh, he's not as easy to hit as I thought he was. Meanwhile, they already spent some of their bullets and he's still coming, slapping you here, slapping you there. The slaps are a little bit harder than they seemed at first. And before you know it, he's wearing you down. He reminds me a lot of Emmanuel Navarrete in a way. I don't know if you guys are with me on that one, but he seems to be that type of fighter that technically he's not that good, apparently, but he mixes in a whole lot of things together that just takes you out of your element.
Right, and it could be like Navarrete when he does that, but we're speaking about Joyce. The thing is that he might start off slow, then you might not be able to really gauge the speed that his punches are coming, and he might not look that good, but as he starts wearing you down, he might start picking it up.
Mm-hmm.
He might start noticing that and picking it up and maybe landing a little bit more accurately, finding his distance and probably putting a little bit more mustard on his shot as he sees you debilitating. So that might be one thing that he does, Joyce. He might be that's if not a skill, that's That's what would you call it? If not
An
a skill
attribute.
or a talent,
An attribute.
yeah, an attribute.
Now, the thing is, with Dubois, I like the fact it was against Lardy, or that guy with the blonde beard. He was trading with that guy. And I like that. You don't usually see a lot of heavyweights trading. So that gives you the sense that he's confident in his power and his ability to trade and land punches on his opponent, that he's going to get them out first, if not himself first taken out. Joyce, on the other hand, he did get hurt to the body against Jennings early on. Then he just overwhelmed Jennings with activity. But still, that there seems to be work to be done there. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure, man. By the way, fellas, the phone lines are open if you want to call in, give us your thoughts on Joyce Dubois, this British derby between two undefeated heavyweights. It's going to be an interesting one. Now, I've mentioned before the heavyweight division, not really my division. It's not my favorite division. I prefer some of the lower weights. But it's looking pretty good, man. I mean, we got to give these two guys credit, stepping in there, putting their undefeated records on the line. Like I said earlier, you don't see guys here in the States or Northside being willing to do that all that much. So I definitely got to give him props for that. Then you also got the other dude, the African guy. What's his name again? The PBC guy that somebody quit against.
Jabba.
Agjaba, yes, thank you. Jeez, Luis. Agjaba's coming up. Again, he didn't look sensational in his last fight, but he's still a big, strong heavyweight. Then we got Usyk. We still have Joshua, Fury, that potential mega fight. So there's heavyweights coming up, man. Hergovic, I mean, let's face it, he seems to be limited really right now. But we got heavyweights coming up, man. So it's starting to look like an interesting division. Did I miss anybody else, by the way? What's the other heavyweight out there that's coming up? Please don't give me that Chinese guy that's 8 feet tall.
No, he's gone, man.
Oh, he's gone, yeah. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. So, man, listen, we got some great fights coming up, man. And speaking of great things coming up, we got a phone call. Let's go to 447. 447, you're on the air, 447.
Hey, BDM Bucho, man. How you doing? It's Kenshiro here.
Oh, Kenshiro, thank you for calling in, man. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're talking about the Dubois-Joyce fight.
That's right.
I don't know, part of me is a bit worried because I do feel you're right, but then part of me hopes that you're not right in the sense where you say either Dubois got to finish early or Joyce is going to finish late. And then you think to yourself, if that's the case, is that all Dubois going to be for the rest of his life? If he doesn't finish somebody in the first few rounds, it's over? Is that all it takes for people to ride the storm for a while? And if that's the case, you know, what sort of fighter are you going to be? I mean, at least, like, you look at Mike Tyson. Yes, he done X amount of 12-round fights. I mean, do you generally feel that Dubois can't even do 12 rounds?
Well, again, I'm saying that those are the 2 points of views most people are going with. Like I said, there could be a third one, which is Dubois starts off early, lands a couple of bombs, then he starts wearing down a little bit, but he finds his second win late and manages to pull out a decision. Look, this is heavyweight boxing. People are expecting Dubois, the big, strong guy who's not accustomed to going the distance, to slow down a little bit. But again, that doesn't mean there's two absolutes here. He could maintain a good pace throughout the fight. So, but you're right, though. If he does wear down, well, let me ask you this, though. If he wears down against Joyce, isn't that expected? Because there's not a lot of other guys out there like Joyce. You know, these slappers out there that got good chins and who just won't stop coming and who are very relaxed.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I remember when I saw Joyce in the Olympic finals against that French guy. I can't remember the French guy's name now. It eludes me, but I remember what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I hope obviously Joyce has improved, but you think with Dubois, I've seen a few of his fights, and to me, he's been exciting, Mike Tyson-esque in the sense of finishing guys in the first few rounds. But I'm hoping that Dubois is not going to be somebody who just gasses after X amount of rounds, and then you think to yourself, you know, if that is, unfortunately, your muscular body exerts that much energy that after, I'm just making this up now, 5-6 rounds you're done, then, he's got to train for 12 rounds because there'll be people, unfortunately, who will take his shots. And if that's all you've got to do, you've got to throw the kitchen sink, for those first few rounds and then you're done, then are you really going to be any decent heavyweight champion? Or, if that is it, then he'll be lucky if he gets the British, European, and Commonwealth. He won't be nothing further if he can't sort that gas tank out. And that's if it is a problem. Obviously, I don't know if it is, but I agree with you that that's what it's leaning towards.
Well, listen, that's what we're gonna find out on Saturday. This is the perfect fight to let us know where Dubois is at, because Joyce is no bum. He might look at it at first in the first couple of rounds, and you look at him being hittable and fighting with his hands down, but the guy's he makes it work, man. He makes it work. So we're gonna find out about Dubois, man. He can crack. He should be able to crack with that type of size he has and the weight. But we also want to see whether he's got other types of intangibles in the tank. Can he, like you said, maintain a good pace throughout the rounds? How's he going to react if he starts getting tired and Joyce starts putting the pace on him? Is he going to clinch? Is he not going to know how to? Is he going to be able to dance around the ring a little bit, buy some time, get a second win? We're going to have to see, man. That's why I'm looking forward to this fight. The question then, though, becomes, Kenshiro, is who are you picking to come out victorious this Saturday night?
I mean, I will be honest, and I'll explain why I'm going to say Dubois, is because obviously for me, Dubois is the future in the sense of he's got, what is he, early 20s? What, 22, 122?
He's 23, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So Joyce is, no disrespect, what is he, mid-30s?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, he unfortunately started the game late. Yes, he's got a lot of amateur experience, but if you're looking from a long-term perspective, how many years has Joyce got at the top if he wants to be the top? 3 years, maybe? 4, Yes, the heavyweight boxing scene is not very flush right now. But, it's like when Lopez beat Lomachenko. He's early 30s. But what I'm trying to get at is Dubois could give a lot more to boxing if he can unlock his full potential, and for a lot longer, obviously. So I'm hoping Dubois just to keep the excitement alive, but obviously that's only if he can actually do what needs to be done, not just to be like a bum that gets knocked out like Dave Allen or the other Liverpudlian plumber.
Well, listen, we're gonna see what happens, man. I'm excited for it, and again, if Dubois wins, you called it. Now, it depends on how he wins, too. That's the important thing for a guy with so much upside on him. Listen, Kenshiro, we're going to move on. Thank you for your call. Thank you for your prediction, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, man?
No problem, guys. Stay safe, and I'll keep watching your videos. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Take it easy. Butcher just sent me a picture, by the way. This is from a comparison of Joyce's shape from a couple of months ago, July 2020, to the month of November, this month. And again, he's flexing, so that's going to make him look in better shape, but he does look to be in good shape. He looks like he lost a little bit
better
of that fat.
than before. Like, if you look at the picture on the left, that's what we call a heavyweight that's in shape these days. The one on the left. I'm not even kidding. That's what,
Right.
we were talking about heavy division, how whether it sucks now or, compared to other heavyweight divisions in different eras. That's what a heavyweight looks like now on the left. That's considered a heavyweight right now, or maybe a heavyweight that's in shape. Usually they're fat and shit. It's disgusting.
Yeah, nowadays it seems like the fans praise a heavyweight when he gets in shape. It's almost as if he won a championship or something. It's like, oh, he got in shape. It's like, you're supposed to be in shape.
Listen, Joyce here in the picture on the right side on November 2020. That's what he should be. That's how he should be looking at all the time. He should be looking like that.
Absolutely, man.
Being fat.
Absolutely.
Heavyweight. I'm telling you, man. Steve, come on, man. I just saw that picture that you showed us before, where you see Dubois and Steve. No, sorry, it wasn't Dubois. It was Joyce against Steve. Yeah, Steve looked. What was that? Why was he even allowed to be in the ring? This is the thing, when you don't have weight limits. You have all these fat asses, man.
Well, listen, I'm a little, because we're giving him praise, Dubois, that is, and Joyce, for taking on each other. But what happens if Dubois looks vulnerable in there, or barely scratches or ekes out a win? are they going to start matching him up carefully and be afraid of busting their investment? Or are they going to say, you know what, this is what happens, this is what he expected. Joyce is no bum. So let's keep on matching him tough, man. What do you
Did
guys
Ali
think?
ever fight a badass like that? Like did Ali or Holyfield?
were-
And by the way, maybe at the beginning of their careers, not Holyfield, but what's another heavyweight that was? Anyways, Lennox Lewis, did he fight a fat guy like that? Maybe his second professional fight. I don't even know, but maybe probably not. And because somebody mentioned Ruiz, he was fat and he was a champion. You know,
yeah,
a champion that was fat like that.
Fucking
What's going on
disgusting.
here?
Fucking disgusting.
it is, man. I mean,
But thank God, man. Look, Dubois, give him credit. I just checked. He turned 23 years of age on September, and he's fighting Joyce, man. In a crossroads fights, like Gonzalo said. Give the guy credit, man. He wants to become a star, I believe, and he's on the right path. Unlike these
Absolutely.
other fat heavyweights.
absolutely,
You
man.
make me want to vomit.
Yeah,
Fat fuck.
Well,
Fat, you
we
fat
got-
son of a bitch.
we got Recognize on the line. Recognize, we're talking about Dubois Joyce, which is going to be taking place on this Saturday. Both guys are undefeated. Joyce, obviously, a little older, but he does have the better resume. Dubois, a lot of people are saying he's the goods in terms of action, style, and power, skills to be determined. What do you think? Is this what's good about boxing? But at the same time, is this a dangerous fight for Dubois? Is he that good? Is he that bad? Or what do you think? What's your assessment of this fight?
It's a good fight, man. 50-50.
Oh,
50-50 fight, man. Joyce is Joyce has been in the amateurs for a long time. I'm gonna have to guess, right? Because he's 35, he's a couple of years in boxing. So you got Dubois, who's like, this. He looks like the. I heard you say this earlier, like the establishment guy, the guy that they want to. They probably want to win. I mean, it's one of those tough fights. It's hard for me to call because I really don't. At least for me, I'm not saying that I'm not aware of them. Obviously, I am, and I'm aware of what they can do in the ring. But it's really hard for me to call this fight right now.
you're not alone, man. You're not alone. I was thinking about this fight a couple of days ago, and I'm thinking, man, who do I? Because let me give you the scenario that I gave Gonzalo and Bucho, because this is what most people are saying is probably going to happen. Either Dubois starts off early, lands some bumps on Joyce. Joyce just keeps coming. It looks at some point like he's going to get stopped, but then at 4th, 5th round, Dubois starts gassing. Joyce keeps coming, slapping him up and down the body, upstairs, boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden, Dubois gasses, or Dubois lands so many bumps on him that he stops him, or, whether the ref steps in or knocks him out, whatever. Those are the two scenarios that most people are picking. I said, what happens if a third scenario happens where Dubois starts off good, has a bad middle part of the fight, and then regains his stamina late, catches a second win, and he's able to rally late to maintain his lead and get the decision. Those are the three things that could happen. But most people, it seems, are going with the other two scenarios. Joyce wins late, or Dubois wins early. Do you think that's
it seems, if you look at both fighters, to me it looks like Dubois could gas out. He's younger, and he's had as much professional fights I think he's had more professional fights than Joyce. But I think that Joyce has the experience. He's kind of built more to last, to last a little bit longer than Dubois, and that's what makes this fight really good to me. I mean, if Dubois can't hurt him early, I see, obviously, it's Joyce is going to probably beat him in the end. But I think Dubois could hurt Joyce, so that's what makes this fight really good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. Yeah,
he's capable of. He's gonna be there to get hit. If Joyce could take it, then Dubois is going to be in a lot of trouble.
What I like about Dubois, though, is that when he fights guys that lay on the ropes or whatever, he goes to the body. He doesn't neglect the body. Why is it a lot of heavyweights neglect the body? Is it because it leaves them open for big shots, and this being the heavyweight division, nobody wants to take a risk? Or is it because body shots for some reason don't work against other heavyweights? What's the scenario here? What's going on?
Yeah, that doesn't.
Good, Gonzalo.
I was just gonna say you hardly ever see any heavyweight getting stopped to the body. It does happen, but it's rare. And I think maybe because they rely on their big power, thinking, if I go head hunting, yes, I can knock this guy out. Especially if they believe in their power.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? What's his name? Dylan White was trying to work the body against Usyk, but it seemed like he was mostly working the body, especially later on in the fight, just to try to set something upstairs instead of really making investments to the body. I would like to see Dubois work that Joyce body. What's that?
Chisora, yeah.
Oh, Chisora, yeah. What did I say? Usyk and Dylan White, yeah.
You said Dylan White, yeah. I mean, I would like to see them two fight too.
I'm all over the place today with the names, man. I don't know. Don't expect me to get the names right here today, man.
I'd like to see Dubois after he fights Joyce if he beats him to fight Deontay Wilder.
Right away.
Don't give me that shit. Oh, please, yes, man. Come on.
All right, hold on a second.
He'll probably if he like you said, Bucho, if he beats him like convincingly, he knocks him out, he probably would feel, I could put Deontay Wilder in there. I could beat him now.
Why not now or never? Now, listen, fucking Steve Irwin went 12 rounds with Wilder, right, into 2015 or something. I don't remember when it was, but do you think that if Dubois gives a good performance against Joyce, do you think that he's better than Steve Irwin? Probably, yeah. So if Steve Irwin could fight Wilder 5 years ago, why can Dubois fight Wilder now? You know what I mean? It's like, why is everybody freaking out about Deontay Wilder? I don't get it. Yeah, he has a right hand. Well, a smart fighter will make sure he doesn't get hit with that right hand. Everything else is cake, man. This guy can't fucking fight. We saw it.
I don't know, man.
Is this guy worse than Luis Ortiz? Come on, Luis couldn't even move. He's stationary.
Dubois is a big mover, man. I mean, look, listen. I don't know.
But man, come on, this guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I thought you were finished.
Okay, there's some guys that aren't even movers, and Wilder had a lot of trouble landing the right hand, man.
But
Dubois has the attributes, man. He has, and if he can't beat Wilder, then he shouldn't be a champion ever. So,
but see, that's the thing there, man.
2 years, 3 years. Come on.
Look, listen. Wilder has that. You have to know how to approach Wilder. Let's give the guy credit, man. He's not just all power. There's speed there too, man. This guy catches you when you least expect it. A lot of these heavyweights aren't used to the speed at which he throws shots. Now, yes, mentally he's not all there, Wilder, anymore with all the accusation. Lately Wilder sounds like a guy who's been doing coke. You know, when you get together with people, you start doing coke and he starts. I heard somebody outside. I heard somebody's listening in. Somebody's listening to our conversation. That's what Wilder sounds like every day. He's coming up with more paranoid scenarios. But he's still in his mid-30s, right, or something, which is young for a heavyweight, essentially. He still has that hand speed, that big right hand. A lot of guys don't know how to deal with that. You gotta know how to deactivate that right hand. And I don't know if Dubois does. I don't know if he has that type of craft. We're gonna see against Joyce what he's made of. It's gonna let us know whether he can adapt, whether he can overcome, and whether he can, take a shot or the pressure rather. But listen, Bucho, you gotta stop underrating Wilder.
Hold on. I like the fact that Dubois was showing. I know he fought some guy we don't even know about in his last fight, but he was throwing body shots. So I like that shit. Like you guys were saying, we don't really see heavyweights right now throw body shots.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these guys that were knocked out by Wilder, yes, it was stationary, and people are saying, well, Dubois is also stationary. I think you can be stationary, but just at the right distance. You can be, right? You can't be like Luis Ortiz in that second fight where he's very close to Deontay Wilder, stays there for 10 seconds, let's say, a long time, and then tries from that range to throw a slow-ass fucking right hand. Of course he's going to get caught by a faster guy.
Yeah.
But I expect more, you know? I don't think it's going to be a 50-year-old. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
The biggest reward for Daniel Dubois, if he wins, this will make him a much more confident fighter at the age of 23.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're mentioning Deontay Wilder. One thing that I never respected about him is he never wanted to fight the fights like, what's this guy, Dillian White and some other guys when they were undefeated. Now when he saw some vulnerability because he got beat, yeah, he's willing to call those guys out. Doesn't seem very confident. And as opposed to this guy, what's his name, Dubois, if he wins, he gains a lot of confidence and he's pretty much 23 and willing to take anybody. So he'll be the guy that's willing to change to take all customers. While one guy in Wilder, he was very timid and hesitant to fight the big names because he saw them as too dangerous. But he lied to us, trying to appear something that he's not by calling them out now and then showing that confidence that he never had.
Well, you know what?
Look, Wilder is dangerous to any heavyweight. It's just that when you become a danger to him, it's when it all falls apart. You know what I'm saying? So, Wilder being dangerous to a heavyweight, it's like saying, the sun's gonna come out tomorrow. Eventually, maybe that's a bad analogy, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, look, Dubois has a really good chance to beat a guy that I can't imagine it doesn't give him great confidence going to the future, right? Like if you beat Joyce, I think it does more for Dubois than Joyce beating him, because Joyce is ready now. He's what, 34, 35 years old. He's an old man. I mean, in the terms of boxing, he's already there is no development stage. Yeah, right. He can do some things and work on some things, but in terms of development mentally, no, that's who he is. Physically, that's who he is. What we see now is what you're going to get. This is the best parts of his year. So, but if Dubois wins, I think it does more for him. And of course, if he beats Joyce, he's going to fight. He's going to want to fight the top guys.
Well, it's interesting. I was going to say, it's interesting how they do it over there in the UK, man. Because, I mean, Joshua and Dillian Whyte, they got it on early. Joshua stepped up to the plate pretty quick. Fury took on, he had more bouts than Joshua did, but he did take on Klitschko right away. Meanwhile, in the United States, Deontay Wilder was going, I don't want to turn this into a Wilder bash fest, but there is a difference here between Dubois' first couple of fights and Wilder's, man. He's being matched off. Now, I understand Wilder's amateur career, because people like to say about, he went to the Olympics. Yeah, he to get a bronze medal, you have to lose to get that bronze medal. It's not like you win. He
lost the bronze medal. That's
exactly. He lost and he got a bronze. He succeeded by failing. In other words, he's failed upwards. That's what happens when you get that freaking bronze medal. So let's not make it out to be like he had a long amateur career. So I understand the fact. I understand the fact that they needed to prepare him for the professional ranks. But that's where Dubois is at right now. They're saying, look, these guys had a good amateur career. The heavyweight division is pretty thin when you get to a certain point at the bottom. Yeah,
exactly. It's pretty thin. So after if he beats Joyce, what's next?
What about
he's gonna want the big dogs?
But there's nothing else. I mean, if you want to say, he's not ready yet for Wilder, let's put him against who?
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Washington.
I don't think he's gonna say that. If he beats Joyce and he knocks him out, he's gonna be like, "Yo, I want to fight Wilder. I want to fight Dillian Whyte. I want to fight all these guys."
So how come when not you guys, but how come in the chat when I mentioned Deontay Wilder, he's not ready? I was like, well, he needs 3 years to figure out how to evade that right hand or something. Come on.
No.
But hold on a second, Bucho. You're saying depending on if he beats Joyce, but what happens if he looks awful against Joyce? Would you still say that he should jump in there against Wilder right away?
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
Whoa. He's got a point. BD. With Wilder, you it is what you get. What you see is what you get. So he's always going to have that right hand, whether you face him now or later. That's what his opponent's got to get over. And if you're going to do it, you're going to. And if you don't, you don't.
I don't know, man. Test. I mean, Wilder's hand speed, man. That's 1-2. It's. There's a lot of guys that just don't want to fucking take it. They don't know how to adapt to it. They don't know how to handle it. So Dubois, I wanna see him fight. I want to see how he does against Joyce, first of all, and then I want to see him fight some other type of young dudes.
Andy Ruiz.
Wow, man. Well, there's very few guys out there that can prepare you for Wilder's hand speed. There's not that many fucking 6'6", lean, explosive punchers. So I don't know, man. It's you might be right too. Look, listen. If he blows Joyce out of there, I'm gonna be the first one saying, "Yeah, match him up against the top 3 right now. Do it. Don't hold back."
Hey, if Wilder beat Joyce, they would be calling it his biggest win in of his career.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, Steve Vern was his biggest win for a long time, and then he was Luis Ortiz, and why not Joyce? Come on.
Good point, man. Good point. I'm looking at the heavyweight rankings here. Top 10 according to Ring Magazine. Crikey. And we got Kubrat Pulev at number 10. He's probably going to fall out of there if Joshua knocks him out.
Well,
Oscar
he's the guy
Rivas-
that goes to the body beating. He's
Does
the guy
he?
that yeah. He gets knockouts to the body, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, he does. He does go to the body. He throws a nice jab to the body.
Then we got Oscar Rivas, who's too short for most heavyweights. Michael Hunter, who's been looking good in these past couple of fights, but again, no real world-class hand speed or power, but just a solid technical guy that will trouble most guys. Joseph Parker, good hand speed, but his work rate tends to be average. Speaking of average work rate, fucking Andy Luis Jr., I want to talk about him later, now that we're talking about heavyweights. Luis Ortiz, talk about fucking work rate. He's got low work rate and low hand speed, or very slow. Dylan White, let's see what he does against
Still on
Povetkin.
biceps, though.
He what?
He's got strong biceps.
Oh, who the fuck? What is this? A fucking bodybuilding contest? Alexander
Last
Povetkin.
knockout, he knocked the dude out with his biceps.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah. Oh, by the way, they're paying him. By the way, they're gonna pay the guy because they had withheld his purse, Ortiz's last opponent, because it ended so early that they were like, okay, we gotta investigate this. We can't just pay him right away. It's gonna look bad. They finally said, all right, here's your money, man.
A fixed fight without our permission.
And then you got the top three. You got Wilder, Joshua, and Tyson Fury. Very thin, the heavyweight division. I mean, you got some up-and-coming heavyweights, but other than that, maybe Butcher, I'm starting to look at the reigning season. I'm starting to say, you know what? Maybe you are right. If Dubois beats Joyce, why not push him in there against the best? Right away, man.
Povetkin.
And by the way, if he beats...
See, you know what? You tell me who should Joyce fight, Wilder or Povetkin? I'd say Wilder because Povetkin has much more skills. He's more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And that fight, maybe you need a little bit more preparation, to develop a little bit more.
That's right.
For Wilder, come on, man. There's a right hand.
It's like Wilder himself too. When has he ever faced punchers? You mentioned Luis Ortiz, but he's very slow where he doesn't create a lot of explosiveness. Now Dubois, he'll create some explosiveness, and he'll probably be the hardest puncher that Wilder he himself has ever faced.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. Wilder fought Gerald Washington. He fought Spilka, different style. He was a mover. Who was a big puncher? Who did Wilder face? Steve
Ortiz
Verne,
was really just a... Ortiz
probably
was,
Severn was the biggest puncher he's probably faced.
With Ortiz. One of those two, I mean.
Yeah.
That's right. Anyway, listen.
Come on.
Oh, shit.
If you ask him, Tyson Fury was the biggest puncher.
Oh, yeah. No, he's a pillow fight. That's why there's something fishy that happened in the second fight, because I don't understand how a 270-pound man
could beat the shit out of a 230-pound man.
I don't understand.
I don't understand how a 275-pound man could beat the crap out of a 230-pound man. I never seen that before.
And by the way, I was watching Dubois fights this week, and it just reminded me how he's still not very polished. And then I compared him to Anthony Joshua, who was a little bit like what Dubois is now a couple of years ago, meaning prospect who, physically very imposing and power puncher and all that, but people really didn't know what to make of him. Joshua has good skills, man. Good compared.
Yeah, he had better skills already than he did at this point.
But what I'm saying is I'm watching Dubois, and then I watch Joshua, and the contrast is clear. You see Joshua with better combinations, better arsenal. He can uppercut, he can hook, he can just an all. It's interesting how you once you compare fighters, you can still start discerning levels. Whereas most people, some people think Josh was just this bum who wins on power. But then also he showed against Fat Ruiz that he's got good boxing skills. He can fight going backwards. So Joshua ain't that bad, man. I don't understand why a lot of people give him crap for
He throws nice punches, BDA. He throws. I guess people like to see that. Like Canelo, he throws nice punches. He doesn't throw a lot of them, but he throws to the eye. They're very the way he throws them are very nice.
Yeah,
I think people like to see that.
Hey,
and the thing about it is that
y'all catch me up to speed right quick. Who y'all got in this fight, Joyce or Dubois?
But hold on. We got D on the line, by the way. Well, I was just gonna say that if you watch Joshua's fights, like I said, he ain't that bad, man. And Dubois still has a long way to go because he's mostly like a 1-2 type fighter. But we're gonna say against Joyce. We'll see what happens with him. By the way, we got D on the line. D, you're saying who do we have for the fight?
Yeah, who do y'all got, Joyce or Dubois?
Dubois.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go slightly Dubois. I have a good feeling about the kid.
Gonzalo, who did you say?
I'm on the fence about that one. You know what? I'm gonna go with Joyce.
You know what?
What you say, Bucho? What you got, Bucho?
I said Dubois. Stop it.
Dubois.
I think it's gonna be hard to catch him first.
He's French like Bucho, so.
No.
What you think, Gabriel? What you think, Gabriel?
Like Gonzalo, I'm on the fence, man, because I was telling the guys at the beginning of the show that there seems to be two narratives going into this fight. One side believes Dubois early, and the other side believes Joyce late.
No, Gonzalo came off the fence and picked Joyce, so come off the fence with your bullshit.
Hold on. I'm setting up the table here. So those are the two narratives: either Dubois early or Joyce late. I'm thinking there might be a third scenario. Maybe Dubois starts out early good, starts landing some bombs on Joyce. Joyce starts coming on at the late rounds. There comes a time where Dubois starts looking bad. Then he gets a second win, and he's able to capitalize on his early lead, and he gets a decision win. That could happen. I'm not quite ready yet to make a prediction, though. It's. I can see both things happening. Man.
Don't bitch out, man.
I'm not bitching out. I'm just saying I'm still not ready to make a decision here.
All right. Well,
what about you? What's your assessment?
Joyce late stoppage.
Joyce late stoppage.
Joyce late stoppage.
Yeah, I think it seems that way, right? Like this, it's Joyce that would knock him out late, and Dubois has the possibility of maybe catching Joyce out there in the early rounds.
When the first time Dubois didn't have his way with a guy's chin, Kevin Johnson. And Kevin Johnson was basically just throwing jabs, worthless jabs, being a punching bag. But the first time he backed off, Kevin Johnson hit him with the first hook, buzzed him a little, and he backed off and just started playing this. But Joyce is going to throw more than just some fucking senseless jab here and there. He's going to go to the body. He changes levels well. He changes levels quite well. He's more technically sound and fundamentally sound than Dubois. And when Dubois figures he can't just have his way, like this is no fucking Eric Schneider's or Fujimoto.
Do you feel experience will kick in? That's what happened. The experience from Joyce.
Yeah, Dubois. And yeah. And I believe Joyce has he's more of a sound fighter than Daniel Dubois. Still pretty green, man.
Yeah, we'll see, man. This is why they're fighting, man, because it's we want to see what they get. Can Joyce overcome some of his technical liabilities, because he does look open, and does Dubois can he live up to the name and the hype that Frank Warren is trying to put behind him? He's trying to get some traction going with the guy. So this is what more heavyweights should be doing, more fighters overall should be doing in all weight classes, fighting against other up-and-comers. And again, a loss, depending on how they lose, of course, it's not the end of the world. Dubois, if he loses, maybe it actually is better for him than a victory, depending on how he goes. Maybe he learns something from it. Same thing with Joyce. Look, this heavyweight division, just because he's 35 now, doesn't mean it's the end of the world for him. He could, fight up until he's... Look at the freaking Kevin Johnson, the aforementioned Kevin Johnson. He's still fighting, albeit he's a punching bag. He's a measuring stick, but he's still fighting. He's still making a living. So let's not make it out to be as if a loss is at the end of the world for these fighters. That's the mentality we need to give as fans to a lot of these fighters, so that they take on the best. By the way, do we got Jay on the line? Jay, is that you?
I'm off mute now. Yeah, Butcher just sent me an invite. I didn't even see which chat this is for. Fantastic. I'm assuming it's for the Joyce fight this coming up weekend or in the near future. Am I right?
Yeah. Who you got for that one?
40-year-olds don't always beat up-and-comers.
Well, he's not 40 years old, but yeah, I get your point. I get your point. Yeah.
We get what you say.
He's up there. I mean, he's past 32.
Yeah.
And
34 or 35.
34?
35,
Okay.
35, I think.
35, damn.
Let me tell you something. 10 years ago, I still couldn't compete at that level. So, I mean, and I'm older than him by more than a decade. So, I'm going to pick Dubois. Hopefully I'm right, because we can use some new energy in the heavyweight division of a new prospect to give us some fun stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there's a lot of fans that want Dubois to win just so that we have some new blood. Because again, if Joyce wins, like we're saying, 35, how much upside? I mean, the upside is better than a 35-year-old in any other division, because again, this is the heavyweight division. But I think it would be more exciting to see Dubois win. But again, Dubois has to look good in the ring to do it. He has to be able to pull it off. And like Recognize said, this looks like a 50-50 fight in there. But Jay, so you're saying Dubois takes this?
Dubois. I'm going to pick Dubois if he's conditioned right to go with his talent to take this to the point to where the 35-year-old will fade. Mm-hmm. And I'm picking probably late round knockout. I know these guys both have a lot of knockouts, but I'm thinking they're going to play it. They're not going to go in too explosive. And I think Dubois is going to show his skills, wear him down, and get a knockout. I'd say after round 5.
Yeah. I was saying earlier in the show that this fight could go the way of O'Neal Bell versus Jean-Marc Mormec. I don't know if you remember that fight. But
I do remember that, because Bell came out like a son of a gun, and he looked like he was going to walk right through him, and Mormec just kind of went back and laid. But the older guy in that fight sat back and weathered the storm and won.
That's what Joyce is going to do. But look, I want to say this, man. I disagree with the idea that Dubois should get through this fight because of the fans. Because let's say that Joyce is everything you say he is. It's this older guy that don't really have anything for him. One thing's for sure, two things for certain. This is Dubois' biggest challenge since he's been boxing. This isn't Joyce's biggest challenge, right? And the thing that I'm coming from, I think they're pretty evenly matched. But the idea that he should get through this fight for the sake of the fans, I don't think so, because then he'll be even more hyped, and he's simply not ready. If Joyce is what you say he is, then this is just another Schneider's or Fujimoto that he's going to run through, right? And so he's simply not ready, because you look at this guy with the lack of head movement he has. He never gets off center line, fam. Look at this guy with guys like Deontay Wilder, who thrives on a guy that just stays on center line like that Luis Ortiz did in that second fight with him. He just kept his head right there on center line. Here, hit me. That's Dubois tumbling down. Like, he's got a lot to clean up. So if he gets past Joyce, if Joyce is not this test, he is, which I don't agree that he is what you believe he is. But if Joyce was that, then we really wouldn't want Dubois to get past that. Frank Warren hasn't been moving this kid away, and that's my concern with him. It's not his potential, because I think potentially he could do better, but you have to fight better to get better. And he's been fighting low-level competition.
But wait, who said that Joyce isn't all that? I don't know who you were addressing there.
You say what? No. I was just talking about the idea that Daniel Dubois should just get past this for the sake of the fans or whatever. I don't think so, because if Joyce is just a 35-year-old guy that won't, be that guy that could beat him, if he's just like another stepping stone, like Daniel Dubois just supposed to run through this guy, nah, man, he's not ready for the next level of competition.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I mean,
I think.
Well, good.
I think the age goes more into the favor of Joyce, because the experience. He's 35, but I mean, he's not an old guy. As a human being, you hit your prime when you're 32. In boxing years, I think it's a little later for heavyweights than other guys, but he's certainly not like shop worn or anything that I can tell. And his stamina is greater than most other guys. He's got to be one of the strongest heavyweights out there. And I'm not just talking shoot your low type of like muscular, explosive, where I'm going to charge at you and then like 10 seconds later I'm going to be tired. No, he's consistent. He's strong. He's like the abominable snowman. He fucking keeps on coming. So, he's got the advantage. I think in the in the age department that doesn't affect his stamina. While these are the question marks that we have with Dubois, so I don't think that the age factor for Joyce in particular is like a big thing. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, listen, this is a good. By the way, who's calling? Somebody's calling me here.
I thought it was just me. Somebody just keeps calling me.
Now, if somebody's trying to get on the Discord, I think Butcher. I think it's Jimmy, man. Maybe if you could send.
I'm telling him to just click the link.
Yeah, just click the link, Jimmy. You don't have to call, man. What I was gonna say is, yeah, man. Look, this is about as good a fight as it gets for both these guys right now. I mean, I think it's a 50-50 fight in terms of what I'm reading from people. It seems like most people are undecided about this fight, and whoever wins can hang this as a good win. But we have to see what happens in the ring, because if it's a bad fight, if it's a clinch fest. I
wouldn't be shocked, man, if this is a big mistake for Dubois. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
He gets in there and he gets beat up. You know what I'm saying? Joyce, man, the way he's built for today's moderate heavyweight, he's built good, man.
Right. And you know what? He reminds me a little bit of...
No homo.
Not too late to recognize. We got that on tape. Was that Bucho?
If Dubois loses, I mean, so what do you want? He lost.
Goddammit.
Listen, he's the favorite coming into this fight. So there's a reason why.
Upset. That's why.
And if it happens, it happens. I mean, then I don't think his career is over. Maybe if he doesn't have a chin, like maybe he's the next David Price, then there's not much he can do about that shit. But if he loses just because he lacks experience, then I don't think it's the end of the world.
Well, that's why
I don't think if Joyce knocks him out, that's a testament that he doesn't have a chin, because I think Joyce hits pretty decently.
Right, but I'm saying if he just gets touched a little bit and he gets dropped.
He's a bruiser, right? He's more like a bruiser. I gotta admit, like, I don't follow these guys that much, but from what I've seen, he seems like a bruiser, a guy who keeps hitting you, and he's so heavy-handed, you just fall apart.
That's it. That's what he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Listen, what's his name? Joyce reminds me a little bit of Jarrell Big Baby Miller, that he comes forward, he's not throwing everything at 100%, but he's relying on activity, and some of these guys, they can't seem to handle that
better puncher though. Joyce is a better puncher.
He got a little more thump behind him than Big Baby Miller, man. Baby Miller's shots just look hard, but they're not really that hard.
What I'm saying is like a Errol Angulo in his prime.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. The principle remains the same. He's more a volume guy than a one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not taking his time to try to land one big shot. That's what these guys do. Like Dubois does that, like Joshua a little bit. They're looking to counter off they're boxer punchers. This guy will create the opening. He'll come forward, slap you upstairs, slap you downstairs. And those slaps, especially when there's no crowd, boy, do they sound hard. By the way, we got Jimmy on the Discord. Jimmy, are you there?
What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man?
What's up,
Thank you for
Jimmy?
being on. Look, we're talking about Joyce versus Daniel Dubois. It's coming up this Saturday. Dubois. Two undefeated.
Now, is Dubois, is he the kid who's real stiff?
Yeah.
I remember him correctly. He's like really stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Steve Kim is very high on him, Jimmy.
What's that?
Steve Kim is very high on him.
Yeah, but I remember, like, that was when I first saw him. That was the one thing he kind of had to overcome, right? Was his stiffness, or am I remembering another British big black dude?
No, that's him.
That's
appropriate
okay.
information.
Okay, yeah, he was just that's all. And I remember the last time I saw him, Jesus, it was over a year ago. Last time I actually saw him fight.
He looks like he can deadlift 700 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. I just remember thinking, they got to keep this kid away from the steel weights, calisthenics, a lot of fucking road work, a lot of pool exercises, and non-stop fundamentals, just snapping the jab, just loosen everything up. I remember that's all I was like, wanted to climb through the TV to tell his people, don't let this kid touch another steel weight. He's got enough of that.
Well, they didn't listen to none of that, Jimmy. None of it.
No? He's still acting the same way?
Hey man, look, that's just what I was talking about earlier. Like, this kid, he's still green. He's still green to me. I'm not getting it from the Fujimoto fights. I'm sorry, that don't do it for me.
Makes you wonder then why they're pinning him up against
Schneiders don't do it.
Makes you wonder why they're pinning him against Joyce now. I mean, it's either a cash out or they really do believe that they can win this fight. That's why I'm excited for it, man, because both guys are willing to take this fight.
He's only 23, man.
So that's weird. So it's not like they're rushing him along because they figure they only have a few good years left.
Exactly.
And then there's no crowd there? Is it going to be in front of an empty place?
I believe it's empty, yeah.
All right, so they're obviously not doing it for the money. I don't understand. It's just weird.
Richard Lartey is his best fight since in his last 5 fights. I wouldn't say Nathan Gorman because he's a rookie himself and he's not proven at all. You know, so I think Richard Lartey is his best fight, but his last 3 fights was just the Schneiders and Fujimoto and what was the African guy, Ebenezer Tete.
Is he a real pleasant guy too? Is he? I remember reading that about him. Is that true? Is he supposed to be a real cordial?
He just told Joe Joyce. He just told Joe Joyce, "I'm glad your mom won't be able to see me knock you out." And Joe Joyce's mom is blind, man. So I don't know how pleasant.
So obviously, maybe it's Dubois. I'm thinking, or Joe Joyce. I'm thinking might be the nice guy. Again, if I make a mistake on describing either one of these two, I'm not experts on these guys. I might be mixing them up.
Well, listen, let's go to the. I don't know if he's a good guy or not. I haven't seen any interviews with the fella, so I don't know how if they can make him. I still don't understand why Josh was a star in England. He's not exactly the most charismatic guy out there, but they seem to have made it work. So you never know what type of magic they're working over there in the UK. Maybe they can make Dubois into a big star if he continues winning. By the way, fellas, we got a phone call here. Let's go to 719. 719, you're on the air. 719.
Man, y'all actually think this a 50-50 fight? Are y'all serious?
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
50-50 fight.
Hell no. Do y'all actually watch boxing or y'all just talk about it all day?
Well, why don't you tell us? Why don't you enlighten us all with your boxing knowledge, brotherhood?
Ask about me. See if you ain't heard.
Go ahead.
Man, this about to be a fucking destruction. This is a showcase fight for Daniel Dubois. Obviously, it should be obvious. Yeah, this fight gonna look like basically a bigger version of Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios. Just imagine. One guy can't help but get hit in the face with power punches, and the other guy is a power puncher and got a 95. Well, in this case, Daniel Dubois got a 95% KO ratio, so the knockout gonna come earlier. So, what fight have you seen Joe Joyce in where he didn't get hit square in his face over and over and over? Please tell me.
Well, listen, brotherhood. Oh, go ahead, D.
Well, I could ask you the same question about a Dubois, but he hadn't really fought anybody to do that. You know what I mean? What was Fujimoto? You know, Fujimoto got knocked out by a 168-pounder. You do realize that, right? Like, this is a guy that was knocked out by a super middleweight, and then he stepped up to the plate with Dubois. Then you had Ricardo Schneiders, who was freaking terrified of him. Ebenezer Tete, who was a community fucking boxing champion. Like, come on, bro. Who the fuck was there to even punch Dubois in the face? Be real. And who was he knocking out, brother? Who exactly was he knocking out?
Fuck you and your details.
I'll address that. I will address that. See, y'all so stuck on who the people knocking out when there's been patterns in the past that shows you power is just power, bro. Even if they knocking out all bums, if your fucking KO ratio is 95% and up, your power is real, no matter who you facing, because not every boxer in boxing is just knocking out every one of their opponents. Who we got?
Hey, I agree with brotherhood on that.
Let me finish. Who's
I agreed with you, dude. I was agreeing with you first time.
Anthony Yard. Y'all say he ain't fought nobody, but when he stepped up, his power was still real, and it's gonna be the same with Daniel Dubois. And he got the perfect opponent that loves to get hit square in his fucking jaw by every single one of his opponents. So,
okay.
Has he ever been knocked out?
No.
Huh?
No. Has he ever been knocked out? This guy who gets hit with every punch?
No.
No. So he's obviously he can obviously take a good shot.
Telephone you on, man.
All right, hold on. I'll say it. Jimmy is asking if Joyce has ever been knocked out, because you say he gets hit a lot, but he hasn't been knocked out. So that's the point he's trying to make.
Yeah, but who has he fought that punches like Dubois?
Okay, here we go. So this is what I'm saying. So if we're gonna say it doesn't matter who Dubois is punching, and when you flip that to his chin, you can't say his chin's not proven. Who is he punching? We don't know what Dubois' punching power is like. All of these guys were sitting there to get knocked out by him. I mean, was he not going to knock out Schneiders? Was he not going to knock out a Fujimoto who been knocked out by a freaking super middleweight? Like, come on, let's be serious. Look at the size of this kid. He was going to knock those guys out. Go ahead,
Can I add to that? Can I add to that, D. Jefferson? Yeah, and look, when you're first starting your career, you get a lot of knockouts because you haven't faced a tough competition. But with that being said, I hope the boss power is really real, like we want, like we think, like he shows. But he's supposed to get the knockouts, and then when he's facing these guys like he's facing now, maybe he doesn't get the knockout. But if he does, okay, his power was real. But if he goes the distance, look, that 95% goes down to maybe like a 90. When you don't knock a guy out, then you start getting a couple decisions. That 95 will go to like a 90, 85 real quick.
Didn't Brandon Jennings hurt this man Joe Joyce with a body shot? Don't y'all see what Daniel Dubois be doing to these guys with them body shots? Come on, man.
Well, this is just indicative of the
Dubois. Y'all don't think Dubois hit harder than Brandon? I mean, what's his name?
Brandon Rios, yes, he definitely hits hard.
But no, listen.
Whoever his name is.
Listen. The point is this. This is indicative of the viewpoint coming into this fight. Some people, like Brotherhood, believe Dubois hits too hard for Joyce, who does have a leaky defense. Other people believe that Joyce is going to be able to surmount that and keep on coming and apply a operational tempo that Dubois is not going to be able to handle. So, Brotherhood, my question to you is, before we move on, is how confident are you in a David Dubois KO victory?
100%, man. It's going to happen. He gonna keep coming. That's what I'm saying. Joe Joyce don't know no better, bro. He like Brandon Rios. He gonna get hit square in the face and keep coming, and he gonna get hit again. And he gonna keep coming. He gonna get hit again. Eventually, he gonna, the boy gonna knock the dust off his chin. Eventually.
All right. Well, listen, I got your prediction pen.
Yeah, thanks for calling, buddy. Bye.
I got your prediction.
I'll tell you, Brotherhood. Okay.
I got your prediction penned. We'll see what happens on Saturday. It should be a good one. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for your call, Brotherhood. And we'll catch you on the next one. All right, man?
Knockout of the year. I'm calling it.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Brotherhood. Thank you for calling in, man.
Yeah, don't call back. Bye. hey, recognize we're starting to get close to the holiday season. You're supposed to have some holiday cheer here, man. Some goodwill. Nah, I'm just kidding, man. I like Brotherhood. I like it.
Don't call back.
and I was just agreeing not with his prediction of the fight. I was agreeing with when someone has almost 100% knockout ratio, whether they were knocking out, bums, no hopers. You're knocking dudes out. So obviously the power is real. I'm not co-signing his prediction because I don't know enough about him.
I mean, I say it like this, Jimmy. Obviously, he has power, and I wasn't saying he lacks power. I'm just saying where they.
Oh, I know. I agree with what you were saying too, dude. I was making it clear. I just wanted to make clear. I was just agreeing with that one little section of him. That's it.
I wasn't really disagreeing with him. I was really just fucking with him. You know what I mean? Because
I know.
I don't have to agree with him to make a point.
Well, that's why I was the one I said, fucking, there you go with your facts. Because he doesn't like facts. Brotherhood doesn't like details and facts. Facts schmacks. Get out of here with those. He doesn't like those.
Come on. He was a good call.
He gets all upset.
It was a good
It's
call,
a waste of time.
Nah, it was a good.
Brotherhood.
It was a good call, man.
Come on, it was brilliant.
Yeah, that was a good. That was probably his best call, I would say.
All right. Speaking of calls, let's go to another phone call here. We got a weird ass number 1111. You're on the air. 11111111.
Yeah. That's how I do. I'll call in with the one. But yeah, this Nas again, man. Last time I talked to y'all, I tried to give y'all some free money. Nobody wanted to listen to me for 2 hours after you told me how I was wrong. And then Loma lost. I made money. Nobody else did. So I'm calling to give y'all another free one. If y'all don't want to take it, that's on you.
Good for you, brother. Good for you, brother. What's on your mind for this fight?
I'm pretty sure he picked Wilder in the rematch.
All right, hold on.
Do you remember the call though, right?
I don't remember the call. We got so many calls.
I remember it. Let's move on.
How can I forget you, man?
Come on, bro.
Sorry, man. Hey, look, hold on a second. Hold on, fellas. We got so many calls. I'm sorry if I don't remember one call, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, you picked that one right. So give us. Well, hold on. Caller. Do us a solid. We got another fight coming here. We got another fight coming here. We got Joyce, Dubois. What's your take on that fight?
I mean, look, if you want to go with KO rate and all that, I'm trying to give you the free money call. I can't give you anything on that. Y'all looking at boxing.
So why are you flexing then? You call in, you're flexing like, oh, I got the last prediction right, and now you don't want to help us out now.
I know, and it wasn't that like you went out on a fucking limb. A lot of people had Lopez.
No, you know what it is. This guy, he knows something, but he's holding back on us now. He doesn't want to give us a tip.
Spit it out. Spit it out.
But you don't want to let me give it. Nigga, what? Nigga, what? Last time when I called, the thing I told y'all was, y'all was looking at fighters. Y'all was looking and saying, well, Loma's the better fighter, therefore, yada, yada. What I was saying is, I was looking at odds and I was looking at public perception. Same thing I'm looking at this weekend. So when we go to the little fake exhibition fight, everybody loves Mike. Want to see Mike
forget that fight.
So
Caller, please. Caller, please forget
that. We're not
fight.
even entertaining that crap, are we?
No.
I agree.
Joyce Dubois, man, come on. You got to give me something, man. Joyce Dubois, you got to give me something, man. Come on.
Give me a fucking answer.
Well, look.
Yeah, dude, we don't support that. We're not supporting the Tyson Jones fight here. We're not talking about it.
Hey, caller, Dubois, Joyce, pick one.
All right, man. Just because the odds are in my favor, once again, I'm going Joyce, man.
Oh my God.
I think you can win a league.
Going with Joyce? Okay.
But again, the exhibition wrestling fight is a much better way to make money. So, like I said, I'm calling in.
Oh, he's trying to give us money tips. That's what.
I can understand you guys not wanting to watch the fight, but more than likely we get two guys.
Because you're a whore.
Fight's boring as hell. People are mad. But you can make some money off these lemmings.
Quit being a whore.
All these
wasn't it?
Their money up. Take the money from them.
Quit being a whore.
Yeah, but I was told that there's a gentleman agreement not to knock each other out.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting with 12-ounce gloves. There's no judges. If somebody gets caught, they stop the fight. It's not, I mean, it
cannot be a knockout. It cannot be a knockout.
Yeah. And there's no crowd.
Yeah, it's going to be a terrible fight. Both guys will be gassed, and people are going to be disappointed. I'm just saying it's a way to make money.
Right.
I mean, why don't they just fucking jump off the top rope and hit each other with chairs?
Hey, by the way, caller, you're calling in with that like a 1111, an encrypted number. Are you afraid of us because we're Mexicans and you think we're gonna track you down or something? What's up with that?
We'll find you.
No, it's just Skype, bro. It's just Skype. That's all.
Oh yeah, I got you.
I'm a man of a certain age, so I'm still using Skype. I know y'all don't use Skype no more, but I'm still using it.
Yeah, we don't use. Well, it's hard to use Skype on this platform.
I'll let y'all go to the other callers, man. I'm sorry for trying to give y'all free money again. So
don't worry about it.
Last time.
Give me free money. No. Don't be sorry about that. Give me.
Just give us the prediction.
He said Joyce. He said Joyce.
Oh, he said Joyce. Okay.
Here it is again. I'll be calling.
We're gonna lose money.
You need to stop being a whore.
Yeah, we should have took that trash.
Liar, whore, and you know it.
All right, so we got his prediction. He said no, but actually, I think it's a good prediction. I think either way. Look, I can see it going both ways. I can see Joyce outlasting Dubois. And I can see Brotherhood's scenario where Dubois just overpowers the guy. I don't know who to pick. Again, I got to pull the trigger.
I'm going slightly
likely scenario that he gets overpowered and knocked out. But again, if the odds are in your favor for that not to be the outcome, you take it, man. Take it. It's easy money there.
But caller,
hey, if Joyce loses, will you call back?
It's not written in stone that he's going to knock him out. So I
That's
just
right.
think everybody's so certain about one outcome when there's so many outcomes that could happen. So
no, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Joyce wins. I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, but the difference is that DU will come back on the show. This guy won't call in.
But you know what, man? Look, hold on.
If I'm wrong, I'll call back and take the L, bro. I promise.
Well, I mean, I don't understand this whole thing about taking the L. It's not like we're fighting. It's they're
fighting,
stepping into the ring. Yeah, we're
No,
just
but
talking about it.
I got a good crow pizza that's gonna be in the oven for him to eat it up. So.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even keep count of that shit, right? Who's winning and losing? Like, oh, you do?
I
didn't know that.
We used to.
I keep. I'm like 50-2. 50 wins, 2 losses.
You got that Charlie Zelenoff record. You're 150-0 or something, whatever the fuck that was. All right, listen. Hey, but by the way, caller, speaking of the odds, I think the bookies have Dubois as a favorite. Do you agree with that, or do you think they're overlooking Joey Joyce based on your pick? Is you're saying Joey Joyce? Do you think Dubois is being overrated here?
The bookies don't think anything. The bookies just move the line where the money goes. So it's not that they think one way or the other. They're just taking the public's money. So that's the public perception. That's what they're rolling with. So it is what it is, bro. Don't blame them. Blame the public.
That's why he's saying good money. That's why he's trying to offer us some free money right there.
I want free money,
man. Son. Free money.
Anytime I can get it. All right, listen, caller. Thank you for your call, man.
Think about every fight party you ever been to. The jackass who's telling you all about boxing, who you know doesn't know anything. Think about that guy.
Hey, you're talking about me, man. You're talking about me. What the fuck? Talk about me, man. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Hey, listen.
Hey, yo, B, wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
The gambler. We're gonna call him the gambler from now on.
Yeah, we're gonna call you. All right, take it easy, man. Thank you for calling in, man. All right.
He's been hanging a lot. He's been hanging around a lot with Mikey Garcia. I see something. I see something.
Read my lips. Oh, man. You in the hood.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna be stepping into in there,
These
man.
People who call in with predictions and stuff, like you want to make money, they should call in and have this weird voice, like all raspy or something. I got a prediction for you guys. It's like they know something nobody else knows.
I got a prediction, buddies.
Hey guys, you want to listen?
I gotta get off the line quick. They're gonna be triangulating my position anytime now. I was like, what?
Yeah, not only that, wasn't the Lomachenko fight like a month ago? I mean, he's like carrying that like a badge.
Hey, man, I understand.
No, he probably got it right, but
no, he did. I remember that call.
No, but the thing is, all right, you got to give us 10 fights, and let's see how many of those 10 fights you got right. And were they close fights? Were they? I mean, we got to look at not only one fight to make an assessment of whether the guy's good or not at predicting.
Hey, by the way, he did make a good point also about the jackasses that are in the fight parties, that they don't know how much you know about boxing, so they assume that they know much. Remember, Butcher, we went to a bar one time, and every time there's a bar in Montreal, it's a fight bar. It's all the hardcore fans go there. Well, almost all of them, because we were outside, congregating outside after a fight. I forget which one. And, everybody's smoking and all that. And this one guy, I think he was like Honduran guy or something. He goes, nah, man.
It's Peruvian.
Peruvian, yeah. And he's trying to tell us about a certain fight, how it's going to go down. And we were disagreeing about it. I forget which fight it was. And he goes, guys, I've been watching boxing for 5 years. I was like, oh, okay. Like, he tried to impress.
He was drunk. I remember there was this other guy who kept telling me, and this was before Canelo fought Cotto, but he had already fought Cotto's brother, if you guys remember. So I was telling him, no, he hasn't fought Cotto. He fought his brother. No, he fought Cotto. And I'm like, no, he didn't. And he kept insisting that he. I'm like, at some point, just okay, whatever you say, man. I don't know. These people are weird.
Yeah, I mean, after a while, it's pretty easy to pick out who's been watching boxing for a while and who hasn't. But I mean, if you go in there,
I've been watching boxing for 2 years. I know what I'm talking about.
Hey, man, when I play on Fight Night Champions online, I'm undefeated, man. So I know what I'm talking about. I was like, all right, take it easy there.
See, the bar I went to, dude, it was just the opposite, man. I used to go to Captain John's where Mick hangs out. It's his family's bar, and everybody in there is either ex-pro or Golden Gloves. Like even the bartenders, everybody in there is fighters. So I don't even think they're showing the big fights anymore since the killing. Because one night it was somebody got punched and the dude died in the parking lot. Yeah, it was terrible. One punch, boom. Kid was running his mouth. He was in there, blah, 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 blah. Took one fucking shot, boom. That was it. He went in the back, and he walked out on his own accord, too, but he had a brain bleed in the parking lot and died.
Oh, so he ruined it for the rest of you.
I haven't been there since, really, man. But everybody, yeah. But that's where we used to always go, because he had, like, widescreens up and shit. But, I mean, come on. You'd look like a knucklehead if you started running your mouth in there. You know what I mean? But that's,
people don't realize how you can get killed by one punch, man. I mean, it didn't happen that way, but when I was a bouncer, this kid got jumped. They killed him.
Oh,
and he died. The kid died. He was dead. We didn't realize, but he was dead already. He was dead. He was like having like those, convulsion, like, but it was like real slow. His eyes were wide open.
Why'd you kill him?
Trying to help him up. Huh?
Why'd you kill him?
No, not me.
Especially,
why'd you kill him?
Especially on a street fight, man. Look, in the ring, you can bounce off the canvas, but you got a little bit of protection because of the foaming and whatnot,
Right.
But you get knocked down the street, you're gonna hit the cement.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bucho, weren't people looking for a fight against you when you at the Wilder Fury rematch in that bar there?
Yeah, I guess I was celebrating a bit too much, I guess.
Yeah.
He said, wait a minute, I have to take care of something. He turned off the camera. I think Bucho ran out of there.
No, he didn't run out. We saw him hanging out at the bar after the fight. But
I stayed there, but fucking people like, ooh, Wilder lost. They weren't expecting it. I was happy as fuck, man, because then I won some money as well, right? So
that'll do it for you, man. When you win some money, man. Now I tell you what, though. Speaking of heavyweights, I wanted to get to this because we all knew about it a little bit, but now it's coming out more and more. Robles, that's Manny Robles, trainer, admits they lost control of Andy Ruiz after big win. Blames new friends. Veteran trainer Manny Robles admits heavyweight contender Andy Ruiz was out of control in the months leading up to the December rematch with Anthony Joshua. Unfortunately, the dad had a lot to do with it, says Robles. We lost control of Andy, so the dad decided to blame this on me. He said, I'm not doing my job, but I am not his dad. You're his dad. You control him. If you can't control your own son, how do you expect me to control the guy, Robles told Mark Grifford. Andy admitted after the fight that he fucked up. He said he didn't train properly and takes the blame, as he should. After that, I don't know what happened. He's acting like he won the damn fight. I did the best I could under the circumstances. I showed up every day. I decided to take the camp to Mexico to get him away from his new friends. I never saw these guys before he won the title. I never saw them. Never knew who they were. I had to put up with a lot.
About Andy Ruiz, right?
Yeah, I had to endure a lot, he says. It wasn't fun. I did the best I could to get him to focus. And then he says, if you win the title today, I want to be back. I want to be back in the gym tomorrow. That's how most fighters think. They don't want to lose their bouts. They don't want to lose their belts. They want to get back in the gym and go to work. He says he wasn't motivated. You're already a world champion. You're rich. You got money in the bank now. What motivation do you want now? You're not homeless anymore. You buy yourself a mansion and you're telling me you're not motivated? You're kidding me. So Robles is blaming Ruiz, as he should, I think. I mean, it's on the fight.
It's hard, man. Listen, boxing, sports, period, but especially boxing because it's a one-on-one. You got to be disciplined. You got to be able to work with your team, but you're going in that ring by yourself. Remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing is a very hard sport to not get too gaslit. Like, remember, you're going in there. This is why I respect professional fighters at the elite level that always keep their discipline, their craft. They may party or whatever, but they always keep their craft and they always keep like, okay, the next fight's coming up. Andy Ruiz reminds me of a guy who he doesn't have one hit wonder skills, but he has that one hit wonder mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. When he was up in Mexico,
it's not Robles' fault, not his dad, not even his new friends, man. Andy Ruiz got that paycheck and he couldn't stop buying Takis, chalupas, and Twinkies. And that was the problem. So that was the vice.
Was that it?
Twinkies and the chalupas, man. He couldn't stop it.
Don't forget
when he was up in Mexico. When he was up in Mexico, the politicians.
They got Twinkies in Mexico.
No. Hold on. Let me just say what I need to say. The politicians in Mexico would pick him up, and he was probably doing coke over there.
Oh.
He was getting that special treatment. Like, you know, when Julio Cesar Chavez was mingling with the politicians, he kind of was doing the same. He went over to training Guadalajara, and they were scooping him up, and he was hanging out with those guys. And I think he made a comment where he was alluding. He didn't directly say, I was doing coke, but I think he was. And leading up to the fight, he was doing like these shows where he was eating a lot of pizza and eating a lot of junk food. And directly related to the fight over in Dubai, he took his fat friends over there, and they were giving them food. And you could see in the episodes of these shows leading up to the fight, the days prior, man, he was eating up a whole bunch of stuff. So I think that had a direct effect on him.
Yeah, of course, man. He can't control himself, and it's interesting that Bob Arum saw this coming from a mile away. That's why he didn't want to do anything with Andrew Ruiz. You know, that shows you his experience. He knew this guy. You know what? He's not dedicated to the sport. Fuck it, go away.
And he was going on runs, and Manny Robles was not accompanying him. And Ruiz would say, well, you know, I'm just going to record my daily run, and I'll bring back and I'll show you the evidence. So he's kind of responsible as well. But Andy Ruiz, yeah, he was not doing a real good job. Neither was his dad. But you have to directly blame Andy Ruiz for it.
Well, you know, Bucho did a video about that leading up to the rematch, and he was showing, it was on BDA Live, and he showed a video of Ruiz at a soccer game stuffing his face with food. And I remember people were going at Bucho in the comment section. I was like, well, so what if he's eating? He's accustomed to that. He's a fat guy. And I'm thinking, man.
They were saying, there's still 2 months. It's still 2 months away from the fight and all that shit. I'm like, come on.
But the way
he was that wouldn't be an issue if he was a stealth, had a 6-pack already. Yeah, eat a chili dog. But not when you already look like your ass looks like 50 pounds of chewed bubble gum. The fuck? You should be eating that shit. Hey, just not for nothing, but what Bucho actually figured out how to do it. I sent you a couple of links, just to show, like, because people say shit to get on these things, and this and that. And I said, well, I went to the bar until this kid got whacked and he died. And people are like, man, this kid with his fucking. I just sent you the links to the actual stories. The Royal Sun, the newspaper. So just to show, man, it's all right there. And actually, I was wrong about one thing. The kid was only 29 who died.
Oh, well, that.
But I'll tell you right now, whoever reads that, the bar owner is the one who's an ex-fighter. He's the one who landed the one single shot. It says in the paper, but I'm telling you, between you, me, and everybody else listening to this, he wasn't the one who threw the punch. It was a well-known person who threw the punch. It's all I'm saying.
Was it you?
But not Mickey. Wasn't Mickey, but it was somebody else that just wouldn't have been good.
Was it you?
No. I was on the other side. Nope, I actually didn't even see it land. It was just a 6-inch punch. Kid ran his mouth. Boom! The kid threw a punch. It just was never in a fight before, and he was punched in the face by a professional boxer, and that's what happens. I've seen it happen so many times. Tough kids in high school, wrestlers, kids been in a bunch of street fights, step up to a kid who's fucking throwing his hands for a living, and it's never pretty. It's never nice.
Hey, man, you know what?
Anyway.
I wanted to talk about also. Okay, so we get that on Ander Ruiz. Who knows if he's gonna come back? It's I mean, I come back.
He's training already. He's training already. BDA. Sorry, he's training and he's got a strength conditioning coach. He's doing good, but he's still continuing to post videos about food. He's still posting food.
That boy loves food.
Wait. Let's
it's a real addiction.
When you start posting videos about food, you know you really about a guy who loves food.
Yeah, guys, the guy has an addiction, and it's a serious one. I mean, it's like
Bucho, you're 100% right. No, seriously, Bucho, you're fucking right on the money. Listen, food addiction, because we think of it like all of us in this panel, like you eat when you're hungry, you don't eat when you stop eating, you stop hungry. A lot of people that represent so much more. It soothes their feelings. When they're depressed, they eat. When they're excited, they eat. And it's a mental thing like any other drug, dude. And they can get really.
Hey, you know something, Jimmy?
Yep.
Jimmy, I certain people, right? Like, let's say for myself, for instance, when I stop working out, my appetite starts to go down. When I work out, my appetite goes up. These people
you're burning all kinds of fuel.
Exactly. These people are you're right. They're addicted to eating, because I can't imagine without doing a lot of physical activity, me just being hungry for no reason. I'm just hungry. I need some food in my mouth.
And sugar affects dopamine too, dude. Some people have it hits them hard. Some women, especially with chocolates, they almost get high from it.
Cry me a river, you fat fucking baby. You disgust me.
You know what?
So you know what I mean? Like, so it is tough. But if you can't fucking pull it together even a little bit when you got millions of dollars and they basically built a whole fight around that, it was Dubois, right? And you show up there, your first title defense, there's clearly something way more than just he has a little bit of an ego.
Yeah, when I picture Deontay Wilder, like the way he eats, he probably gets hungry from working out and shit like that. Who's another one? Anthony Joshua, Usyk, guys like that. But these like chubby fat dudes, they remind me of guys that when they're sitting down, they're bored. They're like, yo, I gotta eat something. I just gotta get something.
And didn't he grow up in like fucking Tijuana too, or along the border? Imagine that, man. I mean, cartels fucking hanging people and shit off bridges.
Mexicali.
Oh, that was brutal back in the 90s when he was a little kid. It was brutal, the fucking brutality.
But he spent
going on. You guys know, I'm not telling you guys nothing.
Did he spend time in California, Gonzalo?
Yeah, across the border from Mexicali. That's where he would navigate from. Just like me, but I'm from Tijuana. But I was born in San Diego. I would go back and forth.
Oh, okay, so
I was raised in Tijuana, but I was going to school.
San Diego,
just across the border.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mexicali is just a little further down the way.
Hey, beautiful city, right, Gonzalo?
About an hour. Yeah,
San
Diego, yes.
It's a beautiful city,
yes.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, speaking of other news, other than what's his name, fucking Ruiz. This is from boxing scene earlier today. Geez, that's not it. It's the Danny Garcia quote here, because he's going to be fighting Errol Spence next week, and we're going to do a show on that film analysis next Monday, I should say.
Nice promotion there, BDA. I see what you're doing. I like it. I like your style.
Well, we got to sneak it in there, man, for Pete's sakes. But here's what Garcia had to say about that angel that is, the father of Danny Garcia. He says, I don't want to hear no bullcrap when Danny beats Spence, meaning he doesn't want to hear any excuses, right? And he said this is interesting. He said, at the end of the day, I can judge him, talking about Spence. I know he's supposed to be 100% when he comes in. I just want the fans, the people to understand that when Danny becomes champ on December the 5th, I don't want to hear no bullcrap. When Danny had bad decisions with Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, we didn't cry the blues. I didn't blame Danny. He didn't blame me. We sucked it up. All right, so that's his statement. And first of all, I want to play you this. I want to play you one of my favorite Angel Garcia clips. This is after he lost to Keith Thurman, so...
I'm not mad. I'm not so loser, but I'm disgusted with this shit. He lost, my brother. He ran the whole fucking night.
You guys want to
win? I don't give a fuck about him, man. For real, I want Danny to retire today. Why? Because fuck this shit, man. We don't step in stone for nobody. Fuck this true champion. Bullshit.
Hold on.
He ain't fucking win.
At least he didn't cry.
WBC was disgusted to give him the fucking belt. They were disgusted.
Anything you would have done different, Angel? You guys think you guys did what you were supposed to?
Well, I would have just Danny knocked him the fuck out. That's what he
by the way, his daughters are there in front of him, okay? So
his little daughters too.
Yeah, so check this out.
I had to knock him the fuck out. Because he was a favorite going in. Everybody who favored him, they were on his motherfucking dick all the way down to his balls. They were sucking his penis from the top of the penis, more little dick probably.
Okay, guys, who do you think he's talking about there?
Yeah, calm down, man. Your daughters are there.
He ain't from Philly, he ain't got a big dick.
Thanks. Hey guys, thanks.
He ain't from Philly, he ain't got a big dick.
Thanks.
All right,
you know who he's talking about?
We learned two things there.
He's talking about Keith Thurman, of course.
We learned
but talk about sucking Heyman's dick.
Oh,
got you.
All right, so we learned
Wasn't
two
that
things,
the girls in the background BD saying,
Yeah.
yeah, go, Dad?
Yeah, I think they're telling him to calm down. First of
Yeah,
all,
they
he
were
said,
stop it. They were telling them to stop it.
yeah. Now listen, he said,
It looks like he took that loss pretty well.
yeah, yeah. But I mean,
he wasn't emotionally invested.
What do you mean he did jail time? An angel like that? No.
He better calm down, or he's gonna croak like Maradona too.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man! You
Dude,
gotta
Good point. Like, can we actually make an excuse for Spence if he loses? Because it was a pretty fucked up accident. So, like, I don't.
Depends how. Listen, it depends how.
Recognize that's the point. I'm gonna ask you. How can you tell that it was the accident that made him look that way and not the other? Like, it's not Garcia who.
Danny wins. It was the accident.
Listen. If Danny wins, it's an accident.
Okay, hey, you know, want to hear a fucking funny thing involving this accident, this whole thing? Check this out, dude. About 3 days ago, I was at 7-Eleven. I ran in. Dickie Eklund was there, right? Mickey's brother. And so I asked him that too. I'm like, I fell for it. I'm like, dude, so what's up, man? What you watching that fight? He goes, I'm not paying for pay-per-view. You know that kid. And I'm like, I hear you. And he's like, it's ridiculous. But I said, what do you think that injuries and shit that Spence, from the car accident, he picked up any injuries? How do you think, if any, will that affect him? He said, what? Like Mickey had every time he fought? Come on, dude. What do you think happens in there anyways? They get their heads banged in. I'm like, oh yeah, kind of thought about it. I'm like, because they remember his teeth. Mickey's teeth were punched a quarter way into his gum line when he fought a Gatti. His eye socket was broken. And he fought him 7 months later. Like he looked at me and goes, everybody I hear about that, everybody's doing his accident. Fuck. What did the doctor say, Jimmy, when we were there? The swelling on his brain. I said, oh yeah, that's right. The doctor said it's equivalent of him being in a 40-mile-an-hour car accident with no brakes, hitting a tree 40 times. That's how the equivalent of the swelling on his brain that night.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like he goes, remember Mickey swelled up, man. He couldn't even open his eyes. His girl was sitting there holding his eye open. He had Vaseline rubbed in his eyes so he could kind of look. Oh, dude, it was brutal. The hands were all jacked up. And he's like, yeah, I keep hearing about that car accident. He goes, believe me, that would have been a fucking picnic for Mickey.
I mean, listen, if Danny punches him, if Danny punches him,
Jimmy, you know what that makes me? Oh, my bad.
He starts, real quick, D. If Danny starts punching him, right, and we see that he's having, like a reaction to every shot, then you could say maybe he wasn't ready because of the time off. He came off from an accident. It's not the best way to take a time off, right? Because you've been in a car accident. So that it all depends on the performance. But Danny could win this fight, bro. Spence, if Spence is off, he could beat him. You know what I'm saying? He could beat him. So it all depends on how he reacts. If we see him getting blown out, he's reacting to every single punch, then maybe the accident has something to do with it.
Yeah, but his people wouldn't let him even step up to that. You know what I mean? That's why I know that's not going to happen. His people wouldn't let him do it. Yeah, go, bro. Sorry.
If this what Jimmy saying is, Spence is going to beat the shit out of Garcia. I'm going to tell you just like that. I'm already confident Spence going to beat him because I feel like he could beat him in two ways. He could beat him from the mid-range to outside, or he could just get in there and fuck him up. But just going on, what Jimmy was talking about. If it's anything like that, Spence is just going to fuck him up, man. Going to fuck him up.
When Spence got in that accident, he said that one of the hardest things for him to do was to start throwing punches because he felt that his waist was kind of like hurting, sore.
Yeah,
his hips. So he's got that together now, and I'm sure that when he gets smoking, he's gonna be doing all right because he's gonna be warmed up. But that's a place to go. That if I were Danny Garcia, I would hit him to the hips, like how kind of like Canelo hit Mayweather with that one shot to the hips, because a lot of the work that Spence does has to do with his hips, because he rotates his waist to throw that left and that right to the body and transition from
Gonzalo,
balance, from going from left to right. So that's what I would do. I'd pop him in the hips and the body, and I would also pop him in the mouth. Yeah, go ahead.
When your hips start hurting you when you throw punches, that okay. If anybody's ever had like issues with their back, that leads down. The pain leads down as you get older. It starts to lead to your legs, right?
Sciatic,
your waist side of your legs. Right.
Sciatic
That's dangerous because when you get punched a lot in the face, it creeps out of nowhere. Next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, my fucking hips are, like it's hurting me to throw a punch. It's hurting me to even move. So that's something to look out for. If he said, I didn't realize he said that, which makes sense because he got into a car accident. It kind of makes sense. So that's something to worry about. He may feel good now, but when he starts getting punched and let's say the fight's going past 6 rounds, that could be, I'm not saying it will, that could be a problem.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that he's and I'm not saying that he's going to get knocked out. Sorry, I got off feedback. I'm not saying that he's going to get knocked out because of that, but I'm saying that since his work predicates a lot on utilizing his hips, maybe he doesn't throw with the same conviction. I don't know.
And I was going to finish too. I didn't finish what he said, like what Dickie said too. The only thing that would be a problem if he come out and he tore out his shoulder or he blew out a knee or something that would affect his. He said because everybody's focusing on what happened to his head, right? You see online, everybody's talking about did he knock some teeth out, head injury. He obviously didn't stay. I mean, just what, a couple of days or one night in the hospital. Head injury wasn't obviously that bad. They just wouldn't have let him leave. And then on top of that, but yeah, so. Hip flexors, dude, no joke. When you ever see people get punched below the belt, you've seen it in boxing, and then the guy will go down, and people say, "Oh, he's just milking it because it didn't hit him in the balls; it hit him on the, in the hip." And people think the dude's faking it. A lot of times, the dude will go down because they'll give him it's called a hip pointer or a hip flexor. You get punched in the right spot. Oh, dude, it's ugly. You'll just numb. You lose sensation, your whole side of your body. You go right down. It's a terrible, terrible thing. It hurts.
Well, I gotta tell you, man, the fight itself, the main event, I'm looking forward to it because I think it's gonna be entertaining for as long as it lasts. But the undercard for that Spence Garcia fight, it's just no. I mean, that's the best they could do. But I suppose they had to do it on pay-per-view because how else are they gonna pay these guys if they fight on Showtime or Fox Sports? But moving on to another interesting tidbit here. This is from Boxing Scene as well. De La Hoya plans to stage Garcia Campbell on Cancun Beach or near the Aztec pyramids. I haven't announced the location, he said, but starting the new year, obviously things are going to be different now, and we've got to think about how to promote in a non-traditional way because we don't have fans. De La Hoya told Boxing Scene. Maybe you can have 20% capacity like you can in Texas, but I have to start thinking outside the box, and I want to create events. First of all, this gave me the idea, man, and I think it's a good idea. We should start holding, if we were holding fights ourselves, because this reminds me of like the video game Mortal Kombat, where you would have, a bunch of different locations and, exotic locations. So I said, if we had boxing fights here at BDA Boxing events, we should do more of that in front of impressive landmarks. Because some people were saying, oh, let's do them in front of the pyramids or, Stonehenge and all that. Let's do it in some other cultural landmarks from the BDA universe. How about the BDA headquarters here? How about the BDA headquarters that I'm putting up on the screen here? That would be a good one, man. Why not?
We'll go to Kalusia.
Oh, Kalusia. We could also do it. We could also do it at the flea market that Recognize sells his bootleg DVDs to. We could do it in front of that one as well.
Can I tell you? I think it's a brilliant idea. Anyways, just a side note. I think that's brilliant. If they did it with, imagine that not at the pyramid, but with the Aztec. You know what I mean? The stairs there. You ever see that thing? It's all flat grass too. That'd be set up the ring there with big torches. That would be sick. Are you kidding me? I think Mexico would go crazy for that, wouldn't they? Get behind that.
Yeah, but if I were
the problem is the problem with the elevation. If you're not training there, then you go fight there.
Oh, you're right, dude. You're right. Even the low ones, the Aztecs, don't they have someone on water? The Maya, that's all high, right?
No, that's in the jungle. Yeah, that's lower. That's in
the river. That's in the peninsula. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the Aztecs? Didn't the Aztecs have some along the river too, or is it just the Mayans?
No, just the Mayans.
Yeah, I think maybe the Hoya.
There's still Mayan ruins though, right? There's those Mayan ruins.
Yeah. There's no Aztec ruins, so I don't know what they're talking about. There's
okay, because the Mayan ruins, right?
Yeah.
And that's on the ground, yeah.
That's lower altitude.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool, dude? I would think that depends too. I would think that would be awesome, actually.
That's what I like about when I look at the old days, 70s, and Rumble in the Jungle and Thrill in Manila. It was international. It was a fight in Jamaica.
Dude, they chased him around, dude. In Africa, man, fucking Ali was a god there, dude. They were chasing his limo everywhere he went. Thousands of kids would chase him down the street.
Damn.
Ali Kumbaya.
They really did. Yeah, Ali Kumbaya. Yeah, dude. Chased him down the road. That's no joke.
Hey, did Ali get some...
They couldn't even get enough extras to actually match the fucking crowds that dude pulled around him.
Did he get some of that African pussy down there, you think? Or?
Well, back then it was AIDS-free, so it wouldn't have mattered. I would have smashed it all, too.
Because he was a woman. He was a notorious womanizer, right? Well, he was a notorious womanizer, right? So...
Of course, they're all dude.
Yeah, you forget.
Listen, You ain't gonna meet a fighter who isn't, dude. Most of them are very type A personality, fucking very aggressive, extra high testosterone levels. You know what I mean?
And he got the best looking ones too. He used to get.
I mean, look at Gabriel Hoya, dude. Right? Oh, sorry, dude. You got an sorry. Recognize.
All his chicks were pretty hot, man. You really look at them.
Even the local fighters back in the day where I'm from, they used to fuck with the ring card girls over in TJ. That just was known about fighters.
Girls.
The ring card.
Look at all the old gangster movies, right? Made in the 1940s, made in the 1950s. You would see in the old gangster movies, the fucking champ would come into the nightclub and he'd have two babes on his arms. It's going like it's part of the fucking movie culture. You know what I mean? The James Cagney movies. The champ would come in, he'd always have the women around him.
Right.
Retard bitches.
Yeah, I thought Gonzalo said. Yeah. Imagine that.
Oh, remember
did you guys Harlem Nights? Did you guys ever see the movie Harlem Nights with Rick fucking Eddie Murphy? That shit's the funniest. The champ, he has a wicked stutter. And he stutters, I'm gonna be with these bitches. Oh man, that's funny as fuck. That's a great movie, man.
All right, but that type of language.
How dare you?
Yeah, I'm not impressed about fucking the ring card girls. I mean, Dana White does it, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
his mother actually, his mother said it online in an interview.
Oh.
Said it live in an interview. He's too busy fucking them ring card girls to pay his family any attention. Holy shit, Mom.
That's
why. Dude, he had his grandmother pack her fucking bags, and she waited by the door. He went and visited her for the first time after really gaining all that material wealth. So wealthy, you have your own airplane. So he's like, we're going to get you out of here, Nana. We're going to get you the best medical coverage because she had cancer. And she packed her bags, mucking, my grandson's going to take care of me. She was saying that up until the day she died in a hospice care.
Are you saying, what's his name again?
Yeah. Dana White, he never sent the
Dana
plane.
White, sorry. Yeah, Dana White isn't going to have a nice Thanksgiving with his family?
Probably not.
Jimmy.
Well, he's got his own wife and kids and shit.
Jimmy, you bring up a good point. Right. You're bringing up the Dana White thing. We were talking a couple of weeks or days ago about the whole Crawford Bob Arum thing, where Arum publicly criticized Crawford. Dana White criticized Bob Arum. You know, those guys hate each other. And he was
hate each other.
And he was, Jesus, D, are you okay, man?
He's hitting a pipe hard.
Yeah, he's taking a blast. He's taking a blast from the fucking bong, man. But Dana White said that, Bob Arum's a piece of shit. You don't do that. Meanwhile, these guys, every time he gets into a hissy fit with a fighter because they're asking for a couple more bucks, he starts throwing them under the bus. What's going on with Dana White here? Doesn't he seem a little hypocritical?
To me, honestly, I thought about that myself. I pondered that. I'm like, it's so obvious hypocritical. It's so, because he's brutal. The shit, he's gone right after the fight. Literally, the guy's still in the locker room bleeding, and he's up there on the microphone. Yeah, I'm done with him. He's not getting another championship title. I can't. I'm trying to make money here. You can't bore people. Other people leaving the audience. No, you won't see him in that capacity again. The dude's in the locker room bleeding. He's eviscerating him in front of the press. So please, it's so brutally hypocritical. It's just but he's saying it because he wants to endear the fighters to him. You see what I'm saying? I still think he's looking at some in on the boxing, because why else would he constantly come out with these things always on the side of fighters?
Bro, did you guys hear about Oscar De La Hoya's comment about he could see him and Dana White working together in the future?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's rumors about him and the PBC keep fucking floating. I mean, he's publicly made inquests into it. But at the time, Heyman was still trying to ask ridiculous money. And, his position is like, for what? It's all you really have is contracts. They got rid of everything. The stage, they don't own any rights, maybe, I guess, to the PBC music. I mean, they spent millions of dollars on the staging and all that shit. It sat in the fucking Vegas warehouse until they sold it all. Nah, it's just, Dana, but by nature, and it's come to light again. And this struck me another thing, too. He did another interview recently where he brought up how he was chased out of Boston by Whitey Bulger because he was promoting boxing events and Whitey was shaking him down. Dude, I just gotta tell you, that is so fucking such horseshit. such horseshit. He did get involved in some local boxing.
Allegedly.
Whitey Bulger. Allegedly, I mean, he's up there. It's in a boxing scene article. It was just recent, another article, another interview where he brought up that he was chased. Whitey Bulger chased him out of Boston back in the early 90s. He was a boxing promoter, and then Whitey, he saw Kevin Weeks came into the fucking event, and he said, listen, Whitey's now your partner on this. Or some bullshit, right? And Dana said, I went home, packed my suitcase, called my mother, jumped in my fucking Nova, and fled to Vegas.
Hey, Jimmy.
I mean, yes.
You got a lot of clicking going on your end. Like
Again,
you're moving around.
Again? Let me
you're moving around.
Let me try this thing.
You're moving around.
Sounds pretty cool, to be honest with you. The clicking.
It sounds like you're grinding pepper.
Yeah, look, you're moving around.
But anyway, now I'll hold this thing. I think it was hitting my cheek.
Yeah.
So let me
you're
hold
saying
this
he got run out of Boston, you're saying?
Yes, he got run out. But that's not true. Listen, if Whitey did approach him for something and he was going to renege or say no, yeah, he wouldn't have to. Well, it depends if he was local and if he was in the game in other ways. So we was doing something else. It would be wise to get out because he would have killed him. But that's not what happened. No, he would have. But Whitey, listen, he was doing like boys club type. You know what I mean? Like even the amateurs, they were like amateur type shit, and a couple of maybe pros who had records of 4-4, maybe 67 people if you were there. Maybe we were selling beer to try. There was nothing there, no money on the bones. He wasn't, I mean, that dude was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in the 90s, just doing numbers and the fucking coke and everything else, and everybody in town had to pay him. If you had anything going on where your name came up, they came and visited you, and it was crazy. It was really 3 of them, but they had some knuckleheads did shit. And then you had to pay him. So they had so many because he wouldn't have ever risked his ass to have White to go in on something, for a little shit like that. Anyways, I know people who talked to Kevin, and Kevin said it's absolute horse shit. I've never talked to that kid. I don't know who Dana White. He knows who he is now, but he's like, that's just bullshit. That didn't happen. So that goes to show you, dude. He has to, because what the truth is, he was selling dirty steroids out of Gold's Gym and got a lot of motherfuckers who wanted to rip his head off sick. The kid Roche from Westford, a wrestler who was signed by the WWE, had to have surgery and it cost him his career. They had to take out half his thigh because of cysts, because of dirty steroids. Yeah, you're making that shit in your bedroom, dude. All kinds of hair microbes and shit you don't see with the naked eye fucking landing there. And then you're shooting that right into your muscle. That's what happens. And yeah, he got a bunch of people sick.
But hey, how about that story that he said that he has headaches or like he loses his balance or something because he got beat up real bad back in the day. Is that true or is that another made up story?
No, he did. No, dudes punched him. His kid Scotty Hagan whacked him. One shot at him in the parking lot. I didn't see it, but everybody told me about it at the gym. It's like, dude, freaking Scotty smacked White. Yeah, I gave him a shot. Boom, because he'd run his mouth. His person. Listen, money doesn't change you so much where you develop a whole completely different personality. He was always an asshole, always out for himself. I mean, the way he's treated his family, and you know what I mean. If his own mother's co-signing, actually, she says a lot worse shit about him. But that's just how he was. He was that dude you wanted to smack. I mean, he wasn't a complete pussy. I mean, he's the type of dude he would, if he would pick his spots. Guarantee he wasn't just going out blind to throw shots. But yeah, he'd run his mouth, and this kid Scotty Hagan fucking smacked him one time. I heard. I don't know why I didn't just hear, but it did happen. Yeah, Scotty punched him. He didn't do nothing. He folded him. Folded him in the fucking walkway in Gold's Gym.
It's a known fact that he's banging Dana White. That is that he does bang the ring card girls, right? The octagon girls, I should say.
Yeah, no, his mother said it, and his wife, when she first filed for divorce, I guess she reneged. She went back and they made up. But part of her divorce filings, which went public, were his. The way she put it was gross. Gross. But he was in lawyer terms, but gross infidelity, like the worst type of infidelity. It was just he would bang everything, but including employees, which means ring card girls. So yeah, he was ripping through all them too.
Because he's
on steroids. He's been on steroids forever.
Yeah,
so even though he's in his 50s, he's still on steroids. So he's still got the libido of a young dude.
We actually have. I don't know if this is true. We got audio of what goes on in the back room with Dana White. I don't know if that's legit or not, man, but according to my sources, it is. By the way, we got Mark on the line. Mark, are you there?
Hello.
Marco, what's up, kid?
What's up, guys?
I like
What's
Mark.
up?
We're talking about
Unbiased, right? On Twitter?
Unrivaled.
Unbiased, Unrivaled. That's right, Unrivaled. I'm sorry. But I listened to you the other day on a podcast. You did excellent. You want somebody's show.
Appreciate it, man.
No problem, brother.
Listen, we're talking about Dana White, man, and how he's bad-mouthing Aram. Meanwhile, it seems to be a classic case of the pot calling the kettle black. What do you think about Dana White, Unrivaled? What's going on here with him?
I love Dana White. He's the most contradictory male in the world.
The most. Well, listen, man.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, but don't you think, Mark? Don't you think that this is the only way a lot of these promoters, whether it's in boxing or MMA, can actually succeed? They gotta be grade A assholes, for the most part.
You got to be a scumbag to succeed in high-level business. Full stop. In my opinion, anyway.
Well, I mean, it's. I think you got to be ruthless to a certain extent, right? But that doesn't mean you have to be a complete and total fucking asshole.
Anger and rage. Well, I'm sorry. I was going to say rage makes clickbait. Rage clickbait is always the best, and that's always you can go on to Google that breaks it all down, and it'll show rage stuff that gets people angry or talks about anger or insulting things. Always gets the most clicks and it gets the most looks. And if that's what you're looking for, is put your name, and everybody was talking about it every time he says something like that, right? If he would have said, "Hey, I'm a really nice guy," do you think how much press you think that would get, right?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a great point.
I think that's a blatant lie, though. That's the first. How can Aaron be a nice guy? How can you make that much money ripping people off and be nice?
Exactly. I remember the story I always say about.
That's the point.
It was an anonymous movie producer, and he went into boxing. He said, "Oh, I want to spend some of my money and try to get a promotional company going." After a couple of years, he went back to the movie business, which is notorious for being filled with sharks. And he said, "Man, the boxing industry makes the movie industry look like a bunch of choir boys." That's what he said. He said the boxing industry was worse than the movie industry. Let that sink in.
When was that? When was that? I remember that quote. That was years ago, right?
It was a guy, I don't know who the movie producer was. It was anonymous, but it was Ivan Goldman. Who used
was
to
that
work
in the
for
1970s or something?
Nah, this was in the 90s, I think, or 2000s.
Oh, in the 90s, okay.
But yeah, remember Sam Simon too? He was the producer for The Simpsons and Taxi and a whole bunch of other shows. The guy was loaded. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he was loaded. And he's the one that banked Lehman Brewster's career. And he was with him up until Brewster got that upset win over Klitschko. And then what happened? Don King comes along, whoop, sweeps him up. And Sam Simon wasn't a nobody. He was a big TV producer, lots of money himself, but he was no match for Don King, because once you're entrenched in the boxing business, like Golden Boy or Top Rank, whatever, good luck trying to get in and beating those guys, man. It takes a long time to get established.
Don King beat a man to death with his bare hand.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
he was a young man,
and
he got exonerated for it. He got exonerated.
He stomped the man to death. Yeah, I mean, so he was, a vicious dude. This guy was a vicious. He charged Mike Tyson in 1990s. He was charging him $8,000 a month for towels. That's how much of a vicious bastard he was. Yeah, he was raping. He, I guess, made jokes in private. He's put my kids through school. He'll be in a car worth $500,000. He was like, Mike bought
Jimmy,
me this.
it sounds like you're opening a tuna can again. Just stop doing
God damn it.
Don't move the cable. Don't move the cable when you're talking.
Dude, I'm not even, no, it's a headpiece.
Oh,
it doesn't,
okay.
It's no cable. It's just barely touching my cheek. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm not jumping around in nothing. I'm kind of sitting on the sofa.
It's fine. Just be mindful of it. But yeah, keep going. What were you saying about Don King?
Sorry. Yeah. He would drive in a car and he would make comments to people who later testified in Tyson's court case that, he would be in the car. Like, Mike bought me this. He just doesn't know it.
Jeez.
So he would brag about
or
that
something. Shit. Yeah, dude. He's the fucking street kid who beat a man to death, who got into boxing because when he got into it, the mob still ran it. You know what I mean? Like the fucking Jimmy wrote that great book. He's dead now. He wrote it back. I forget the title of it now, but the red light district of sports. It's no joke, dude. Listen, back in the day, the only plus side of that was what drove the wages, what drove the bet. Of course, the greatest fights. The 50-50 the fight was, the better it was for the fucking bookie to make money. Fucking bookies don't make money on one-sided fights. So they went the best fights. And you didn't have that stew time. You saw them to let this marinate. The fucking dude would be send somebody to your house the next night. The guy you signed a contract to would be like, dude, are you nuts? You end up in the back of a fucking car.
Jesus.
What are you doing?
By the way,
no doubt, dude. So
real quick,
but that's why it was better.
Real quick, I just got to give a shout out to Tony Boswell who donated the super chat, and he says much respect at the BDA and the panel. Smash that like button and show support. I got Spence Jr. stomping Danny inside of 9. Just my opinion. All right, shout out to Tony Boswell. Thank you for your contribution, man. Yo, speaking of Don King, though, one thing that's why he was a grade A asshole himself, but you gotta admire to a certain degree the fact that he went against Bob Arum, Harvard law school graduate, and he was going toe-to-toe with him just based on hustling alone. I mean, this guy, I don't know what he learned on the streets or in prison, but he came out of there as a grade A hustler. And the thing that I liked about Don King was that he could talk. He had charisma. Like any good hustler, he knew when to turn it on and how to sway the crowds. Because there's a very good clip. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on YouTube. It's after the Louis Holyfield fight, the first one, which a lot of people always, it was considered one of the worst robberies ever. He goes on this British show. The balls on this guy, and in the audience, it's a whole bunch of British celebrities. And you know how the Brits do it; they got that sarcastic humor. So they're making fun of Don King. They're being sarcastic, blah blah blah. Little by little, Don King starts coming up with quotes. He starts reciting poetry and fucking Shakespeare and all that. And by the midway of the interview, he's actually got them laughing and not at him; they're with him. And I'm thinking, this guy, if he wouldn't have been a criminal, he could have been a great politician, a great talk show host, whatever. I mean, he swayed the crowd. And I'm thinking, man,
criminal politicians are pretty much the same thing.
He had charisma.
Exactly, yeah.
He had charisma for sure. Remember with Chavez, Viva Mexico. Even with Trinidad, Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
He had charisma, man.
How we always come out covered in flags. If it was an American fighter, hundreds of American flags, be waving them, everybody passing them out. Yeah, no doubt about it. He was just, but then it was that other side. I mean, he was involved with the Muslim Brotherhood. He had them on money. Yeah, dude, he was a shady dude, but that was his angle in the game. Where Errol was a lawyer, Harvard Law. Yeah, that was his go-to. But he said that just happened naturally. But if you think about it, though, just a fraction of the fighters, regardless of what anybody's opinion of Bob is, left Bob with the kind of hatred they did for King. King straight robbed everybody. He didn't even make. You don't hear about Bob ever charging anybody $8,000 a month. It's for shit for towels. He was doing it because he took advantage of Mike. Sorry, bro.
I think the only fighter that I know that has a good relationship, from what I've read, with Don King is Trinidad for some reason. I just want to say that.
Yeah, Trinidad always. He always said that. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say one thing. He always said on every time he did an interview that his relationship with Don King was a very good one. He paid him. He never talked about Don King robbing him.
That's interesting, man. Maybe he was the exception to the rule. Mark, you were gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, I think Don King is like a prime example that you've actually got to be slimy to give the fans the best fights. And the only reason I'm saying that is most of the other dudes out there, they're trying to marinate everything because the fighters want to do that to build things up. But Don King knew that if you give the fans the fight, they'll keep coming, right? So he would rip off his fighters religiously, but the fighters would end up having to fight anyway, the best fights, and then we'd get them. So it kind of tells me that fighters, when they think too much of themselves, they'll allow the worst thing to happen, and that's the sport to decline. But under King, it grew.
Excellent point, dude. Look at it. Boxing's been around 100 years, right? 100 fucking years. We have enough of a sample size. Over 100 years. Look at the projection of it, right? When it was at its, from 1930, probably had really soaring, and it was the number one sport in this country by far in the 1940s, 50s, 60s. Into the early 70s, then baseball started catching up, and then in the 80s was baseball and it's but boxing was still huge into the 90s. But back then, dude, like you said, they were forced to fight. There was none of that marinated shit. So what happened? Like you just said, it was perfect. You gave the fans what they want. They came back. They would be back every Saturday at Madison Square Garden. It was all everybody talked about. Think about this, dude. At one point, Muhammad Ali, closed circuit television, 70 million people watched it worldwide. We fucking get a hard on when we hear anywhere near 1 million now on pay-per-view. 70 million. Right, dude? 70 million. Think about it. He was iconic. It was part of the culture. But now what's happened? It slowly started decaying, and it was the Protectio started. I'm not trying to bring up that angle, but you know what I'm saying. And then, just like Mark, you said, now they get a fucking overblown, inflated sense of self-worth, and the sport's declining, and it is what it is.
Maybe
So
the coronavirus,
fans like us.
maybe the corona, Jimmy, is not it's not really like a bad thing if you think of it, because everything gets reset. Something bad has to happen in the world for things to change sometimes. What do you think?
I know it's to shake it up.
Yeah, Gonzalo's pro the Great Reset. That's what he's going for. But it's interesting. It's to Mark's point. You look at the UFC. It's a monopoly. Dana White calls the shots. If you don't like it, he's got another guy next in line. And people keep going back to the UFC because they make the fights that people want to see on a more consistent basis than boxing. But now, Mark, would it be fair to say that, because you get your own channel too, and you deal with a lot of people in the chat room and then different people coming through on the panel, is it me, or do people also tend to look at the glass as half empty? Like, oh, boxing used to be better before, blah, blah, blah. But like, we get some good fights coming up, you know. We always got some new starts coming up too. It's not like it's a dry well, right?
Could be bigger. Could be way bigger.
That's true. That is a good point.
I mean, look, they're trying to build fighters to have 3 average fights and then put them on pay-per-view in a slightly more average fight.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That's all they do. Look at Tank Davis. If Tank Davis had a fought like against other top tier fighters around his weight class, like after the Pedraza fight, if he had a kicked on and he had fought, let's say, Gary Russell then, and then Leo Santa Cruz, and then Jojo Diaz and shit like that, then by the time of now, they decide, you know what, I'm going to put him on pay-per-view. If he came through all of those fights, people are going to turn over their money and pay for it because they're going to be like, I want to see this dude. He's fucking great. Instead of just relying on whatever they're telling you. They have to tell you to watch a fight. They're selling Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia based off of a car crash.
Yeah, man, it's true, man. It's like,
And that Davis, he didn't sell 200 and fucking. We went over that too. That's a crock of shit. He didn't sell anywhere near 250 pay-per-views. No way.
That's what they told us he sold.
Yeah, they said they estimated, Mike Klopp. Oh, an estimated. This is what it's expected to do, is what he said, and everybody just ran with that. But then Showtime didn't tweet anything out. Why were they silent? Because if they would have said yes, or even retweeted Coppinger, who knows? If the IRS wanted to be assholes, they'd say, wait a minute, but you only file taxes for, say, $120,000. You know, they could bust their stones for that.
Hey, but you know what?
They're required.
There's some weird people out there, Jimmy. I don't know. Last episode that I hosted on Friday when we did the free-for-all, and I was talking about Steve Kim. He was getting it on with some guy on Twitter because the other dude was criticizing Teofimo Lopez for taking on Cambucho. And Steve Kim was like, well, it's a decent fight. And the other guy's like, no, he got to go see Haney. And then I checked out the guy's Twitter, the guy who was arguing with Steve Kim. And he's going, man, I literally don't remember what happened in the last 3 days. Don't do drugs, kids. So I'm thinking, all right, so he's self-admitting that he's full of fucking pumped, full of LSD or something. He doesn't know where he is. And that's the type of people you got to deal with on the internet. So detractors are all over the place. There's always somebody criticizing. You know what? I like Stu, but sometimes he does tend to overly criticize boxing a little bit. I think that's his energy. He's not afraid to say what he thinks. But there's worse people out there that every time something good happens, they go, oh, this fight sucks. Oh, the past used to be better.
Is that what you were referring to when you were asking? Yeah. You know,
so
time, and look, let's take Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois. That's a solid 2 prospects, whatever you want to call it. It's 2 heavyweights on the come up undefeated, right? Mm-hmm. Olympic silver medalist versus a guy who they're trying to flag as the future of British heavyweight boxing, right? Which is a good thing to see happen. It's good to see these 2 dudes fight. I'm seeing people being like, Joe Joyce is an old man, Daniel Dubois has got no chin, these guys don't matter, they're crap, and then like they're just shitting all over it. You get me?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then
it's like, that's not even pay-per-view in the UK. And these are UK people saying it. I'm like, yo, you got this on regular BT. Be happy.
That's bizarre, because usually you guys in the UK, you get fucked over. You got to pay for shit fights, and they put them on pay-per-view. Finally, they're getting a good matchup. It's free, and they're shitting on it. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I think people, it's in our nature.
Well, it's not free. It's part of your subscription to BT Sport, which is like £25 a month. So it's not
free.
bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. Listen, I think we as human beings, we tend to look at the worst sometimes, and we tend to like to complain. Butcher, you're reading a book on evolution right now. Did they say anything about complaining and overly criticizing things? Like, why is that part of our fucking nature right now? All right, Butcher's out there, I don't know, doing something else. But anyway, listen, speaking of being out of the loop, there's another thing that I want to talk about here, and this one's really fantastic. Oscar De La Hoya says he wants to come back in early 2021, and he wants to fight Gennady Golovkin. Okay? This is what he said.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. I'm looking to make a comeback first quarter next year. Real fight. Regarding opponents, somebody today mentioned somebody that really intrigued me, said De La Hoya, in the Ark and Barak show. I'll tell you, I mean guys like Triple G, guys with that style. I took apart, no problem. We'll see. Okay, first of all, if one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and we're talking Canelo here, well, some people consider the best fighter, pound-for-pound fighter in the world, arguably lost 2 fights against Golovkin. Let's say you didn't have him losing, but they were still razor-thin close fights, especially the second fight, I should say. You tell me 47-year-old De La Hoya is going to come back, and he's insane.
But you didn't hear did you hear the audio version of that quote?
No. What do you say?
Yeah, did you? Oh, it goes. I think it was something like, well, right now we're looking at kind of a we're looking for an opponent. Hold on, we're looking for an opponent right now. Shit, is that the cops? Shit, put the window down. We're looking for an opponent, but it could be Triple G. Fuck it.
You know what?
Every time something along those lines.
I imagine
something like that.
Yeah, where's the spatula?
Oh, come on, man. Wait a minute now. I imagine
he might be trying to.
Go ahead,
sorry, BD, he might be trying to take a stab at Canelo by saying that, if by him thinking if I beat
Of course he was, dude.
Yep.
Bingo.
Much better fashion than he
Bingo.
can.
Of course, that was dig at Canelo.
Y'all are making me feel sad, man. I thought there was a chance I was going to get Oscar versus Triple G. I'd pay money. I'd pay money to watch Oscar De La Hoya get killed in the ring.
Well, why not, right? I would too. But seriously, though, Gonzalo, you're 100% on the money. It was so obviously a dig at Canelo because nobody thinks Oscar's coming back. He was just basically saying, that was absolutely, dude. You saw right through it. That's exactly.
But you know what? The reason why I brought it up is because it wouldn't. De La Hoya has a history of saying things, nonsensical things. For example, back during the Ronda Rousey peak hype train, he was licking her clit off and saying, De La Hoya says, this is from 2015, De La Hoya says Rousey taps Mayweather in 16 to 17 seconds. Now look, I obviously said she was a judo expert and she's a submission expert and all that, but everybody that I've talked to who knows jiu-jitsu or grappling says, look, even if you get a woman who's an expert black belt, whatever, she's finding a fit man with man strength, and Mayweather was strong. But let's not get it twisted. The guy, okay, maybe for some people 150 pounds isn't that big, but he had a strong core. To say that Rousey would have beaten him in 16, 17 seconds, that was bizarre. And then De La Hoya also...
he was caught in her.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, well, yeah. Well, she does have a lot of spinal
to rep her, because they were talking about her coming to boxing, female boxing. Remember that when she was on Ring Magazine? And I think he wanted to promote her.
This brings to mind also another article here that I pulled out from the archives from October 30th, 2015. Says De La Hoya says he's ready to promote Rousey if she wants to box. And he said, this is what he said. He says, we've discussed it as a boxer, blah, blah, blah. He said, hold on, I'm looking for the quote. Okay, she's really good. Speed, power, and instinct, which is very important. Now, back in the day, even I was impressed with Rousey's grappling skills. But as a boxing aficionado, you could tell that she wasn't. Just guys, click on the screen sharing that I'm showing you here.
She was shit.
Right.
This is almost, this is too much to hear. I keep thinking of that Homer Simpson tweet.
Hold on, fellas. Check out the clips that I'm sharing on the screen here. I'm putting up on YouTube too. Yeah, look at that hand speed.
Yeah,
look
that's terrible.
Look at
I
that
remember
hand
that.
Jesus.
Look at that.
If you could find some PDF of her hitting the double limb bag.
Oh man, somebody's gonna tweet that to Oscar De La Hoya. You could picture like with the Homer Simpson fucking meme or gif with him slowly going back in the hedges. Like, oh man, how do you get a back off that dude?
Yeah, but nobody told her, listen, like, nah, you're not doing it properly.
See how she got her fucking head tilted to one side? What the fuck she doing?
She looked like a castmate from Born This Way. The fuck?
Oh my goodness gracious.
She was shaking her ass when she was throwing punches. You saw that?
Can you Can you find one of her hitting the double limb bag? The double limb bag.
Let me check it out. Hold on.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, but so-
swear to God, she looks like a backup dancer for Lady Gaga in the fucking song Telephone.
I remember.
There you go.
Yeah, I think this is it, man. Oh, from Ellie Sackback, who got into it with Rousey. Oh, what the fuck? What is this, man? No, she's just warming up.
Oh no.
She's just warming up, guys. She's just she's just warming up. She's just working on stuff. Yeah. Is that the one, Gonzalo? Hold on, let me see this one. I mean, look, I'm making fun of her because based on that fact that she actually believed the hype too. Remember? She was like, "Oh, I can beat Mayweather."
She did.
She knows the basics, but you can see she's still like a little lost.
A little,
a little lost, man. What do you mean?
I mean, she doesn't have no resistance. She doesn't have no resistance coming back, so she's like a little lost. So you can imagine.
This girl went for
somebody does. She went for. She folds apart.
Mate, she went for a walk in the Bronx and wound up in the Amazon. That's how lost she is.
and then ended up on Ellen's show, fucking crying. I was gonna kill myself.
No, when she said that,
yeah, dude.
When she said,
she ended up on the Ellen show. Ronda Rousey ended up on the Ellen show. Tears
Crying about what?
Imagine crying. Imagine crying to Ellen DeGeneres, bro.
Yeah, that's what. Basically, she was saying, and everybody tells you you're the greatest thing, and you believe it, and then all of a sudden you lose it, and everybody hates you, and I thought of killing myself. Oh yeah, it was. And the thing with suck, dude, I don't even think after all that, she had like a couple of fucking maybe she yanked a nose hair and wadded up a little. It was plastic. At the same time, she was still falling apart because she was still saying it on national television. I was going to kill myself. You just let every opponent know you are a mental weakling. You lost a fight and you're on the fucking national television talking about killing yourself.
Kind of like Deontay Wilder a little bit, huh? That he loses and
I was going to say the same thing to
you.
It disappeared, man. You read my mind. I was about to make that comment.
But the reason why... Well, hold on. Butcher, you were going to say something? Or?
Nah, I'd rather not say anything.
Well, the reason why I bring Rondo, I wanted to ask something about...
I want to know what he was going to say now, bro. You can't do that. You can't do that, man.
No, but listen,
she was flexing big time. She was flexing big time before his fights, just like Wilder was. That's why they disappeared.
But that's what I was going to say. I was going to say this because Ronda Rousey, Jimmy, I think you were alluding to the fact that maybe she was being fake a little bit on that Ellen show. She seemed to me like a... she was unbalanced because I remember before the Holly Holm fight. By the way, I hate when people call her Holly Holmes, like she's from the hood or something, from the barrio. She's Holly Holm, not Holmes.
Holmes, yo. That's Holly Holmes, yo.
Yeah, that's what the people say in the barrio. Hey, that's Holly Holmes. Watch out. That
like Holly Holmes.
Yeah, but anyway, she seemed fake because prior to the Holly Holm fight in the weigh-in, she started trying to shove her with her Holly Holm with her head. And then Holly Holm pushed back and she tried to get at her. And then they asked her during the interview, she goes, "What happened there?" She goes, "Oh, we all knew Holly Holm was fake." I'm thinking, you're the one that instigated it. Like, what the fuck? It's like, it seemed like she was just being a cunt. Yeah,
she told the girl, she said it, she told the girl right after the fight before that, the last one she won, she said, like the reporter asked, "Why are you in a bad mood? Why are you the snarl?" Because she goes up and snarls and gets down to her fucking drawers and snarls at the girl. And as she's walking away, and she's like, "I'm mad because she thinks she has the right to even think about fucking fighting me." Like, I'm like, you fucking clown show. You know what's so fucked up? Her mother wrote an autobiography.
She's bangable.
Saying that this was going to happen because her mother
She's
said,
bangable.
"Listen, my daughter, she's right. The mother, no, right? Her mother ain't bad. Her mother's a judo bitch too, like a triple black belt. Her mother, and she got her into it. But that's what she said. My daughter's not a fighter. She's never been hit in the face. People don't realize that. So her mother knew once she finally gets hit in the face, it's going to be a big reality check." And what happened?
Brock Lesnar, when he went to the UFC, he wasn't getting hit in the face. Once he faced Cain Velasquez, and Cain Velasquez was hitting, he turned his back on the guy. That's a reaction that you see from a guy who just showed up at the boxing gym for the first time. He starts sparring and he turns his back. That was, it's a different ballgame, man, when you get hit in the face.
So her mother knew that was going to happen. That's why she wasn't surprised. But she went on television and said she wanted to kill herself.
Is that one picture over there of her pregnant?
Hold on a second. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, what is that? No, the top four
on the top. On the top.
Yeah, that's a Photoshop. That's a Photoshop.
Yeah.
No, but
okay. I was saying somebody knocked her up.
I think she did. 2015. Wasn't it 2015 or 2016? No, 2016 was the year of it was at her height.
Yeah,
she was signed by that. Remember Boys, whatever the headphone company. Signed by them. She was exclusive through Mountain Dew. She had sneakers. She was on the cover every other. So she just
she came out on the cover of the Ring magazine, Jimmy.
Yep. Somebody still was making fun of them that the other day. I saw that in a tweet.
The point is this. The lawyer says some dumb stuff, and it's a cautionary tale for overhyping somebody. By the way, I still think Gina Carano is the best MMA girl ever, and I'm not talking about skills. I'm talking about something else, if you know what I mean. Now, she's gotten a little bit chubby, but I gotta tell you, I'm not into fatties, but for some reason, the fatter she gets, the more BDA likes.
The better looking, right? The more womanly she looks.
You know what I think? I think Gina Carano, she looks like she's got a classic, nice, fat pussy. You know, like those big fat pussy lips that you just, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know why. I get the impression, man. And I also get the impression her shit smells like flowers. I also think that for some reason. Now, I'm usually right.
I see what you're saying. No,
you call it thunder juice, bro.
She's a good looking girl, for sure.
Just a good looking girl. What do you mean, just a good looking girl, man?
Nigga, waste your ass. Yeah, she's like, I'm not gonna say she's a fucking dime piece, but I see what you see.
Like, bro, you going too far, dog.
You're going too far to recognize. I think you're going a little too far.
She's not like the girl that me and Bucho visit on Instagram.
Oh yeah, that one
we banged. The one we banged.
Remember that girl? We were over at on election night. Recognized gave us a photo of a girl who's married to some veteran or something, like a blonde girl, and we're stalking her Instagram live on the air. We're just watching her. We're watching her Instagram videos, and then you just hear we're watching the videos, and you just hear Mark say, "Look at that bitch." I don't know. We're just admiring the bitch. Yeah, she was good looking. Why not?
Recognize that the girl that me and Bucho visited almost sounded like you guys trained her.
Yeah, that's what I was
like. If you were together and you ran the train on her or something.
Yeah, but I mean, look, listen. When you talk about these fighters, De La Hoya loves to just jump the gun and go like. And also, he was gunning for Rousey because they were talking about her and Mayweather.
I thought he was trying to hit it at first. The way he was going after her.
Oh, come on, man.
I thought he was like trying to get with her. You know?
Maybe, yeah. But I mean, I think it's also because he wanted to shit on Mayweather. By de facto, yeah. And yeah, that's the thing. I think that's
what De La Hoya. I'm handsome. You should date me.
No, but you know what? I think De La Hoya, as any addict, he probably went to AA or recovery or whatever. And you have to, no, but it's true. You have to actually, if you go to recovery, I don't know if they do this in every recovery or if they just do it in AA, but don't you have to go through the 12-step program where you actually have to apologize to everybody that you did wrong to? Like, it seems like De La Hoya doesn't follow that credo. I mean, he keeps shitting on people, and
he's stuck on one.
He's stuck on one.
He's stuck on 12 steps, man. I'm still stuck on one. Yeah, he still hasn't admitted the fuck. He's in the first one. I have to admit I'm powerless over my addiction. He still hasn't admitted that. He still thinks he can run a company.
Has Schaefer apologized yet?
That's a good question.
He's got to make amends. He's got to make amends, right?
He's got to do something.
What happened to Richard Schaefer?
Good riddance to good shit.
He's lurking somewhere. He's on the down low.
Oh, he's a Swiss banker, right? So he's trying to not pay reparations to those Holocaust survivors. But listen, the point is this, man. Money. Yeah, he owes the money. No, but I was going to say something about changing the subject a little bit here. Oh, yeah, we got also another piece of news here. Now, this one came out of left field. Jose Ramirez, the 140-pound champ, or title holder, I should say, wants to humble Teofimo Lopez at 140. And this is what he had to say. He says, honestly, he's not on my radar, but sometimes there are guys that I would love to punch. And that's a kid that I want to punch, said Jose Ramirez. At 140, I could humble him. It's not just winning the first 7 rounds of the fight. It's winning the last 5. So he's sort of like taking shots at Lopez there for...
I see what he did there.
You mean the weight class that everybody's talking about Teofimo going up to? You mean a guy from his same promotional companies barking out something out of nowhere?
Yeah.
That's odd, huh?
You're
What's the chance of that happening?
Nice. I like it.
But it's weird, though, because first of all, he has to get past Josh Taylor first. So he's making it out to be a
and that's probably not going to happen, too. So
no.
I give him a good chance against Taylor, but I wouldn't pick him to win that fight.
Who's that? Oh, Ramirez?
Ramirez, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think he's bitten off more.
I think either of them can win that fight.
What's that?
I think either of them can win that fight.
Yeah, it's a 50-50, but, if I had to put my money down.
I think I've seen Ramirez slow down the last couple of fights, like his aggression. If you go back for a few years ago, which happens, man, you can only fight in that style for so long, and then infrequently too. That's not a good style to have, fighting infrequently. It's an easy style to get your timing fucked up, and it's an easy style to look bad in if you're up against a good fighter.
Well, Postal, he fought Taylor and Crawford, and he fought Ramirez. That guy, he gives everybody a tough fight, where it's hard to look spectacular against him. Now, the fight he had against Cepeda, we've seen Cepeda do very well against Baranchik, so that was a good opponent. As far as Ramirez slowing down, I don't know. He's a good finisher, throws a lot of punches. I think Teofimo hits harder, but that'd be going up one division, so it'd be an interesting fight.
That picture right there, Victor Postol looks like a smaller. He looks like a smaller Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah, he does, huh? He does have the same facial feature, similar facial features.
When they get punched in the face, right?
But
he's as exciting as Klitschko as well.
Oh,
I would think it would almost Gonzalo. I think it would almost be a given that fight. You would be getting that fight. You know what I mean? Think about it. If they were looking for 140-pound, obviously they're going to go with him, right? Another top-ranked guy, get in with some audience. That'd be some money there.
Hey,
especially
but you know what,
put in Ramirez's hometown.
It's interesting, man, because Ramirez says he's criticizing what's his name, Lopez, about the stamina. But before the Postal fight, we did a film analysis and we were questioning Ramirez's stamina. So, and he actually did slow down a little bit against Postal. He never. You would think that the pressure fighter would be the one to turn it up late, and even against Maurice Hooker, he slowed down a little bit. So, if he's going to be criticizing,
that's what I meant. Yep.
Right. So if he's going to be criticizing another man's stamina, he better work on his own, man, because he's a pressure fighter. He has to be the guy with the bigger gas tank. You know what I mean? Like he can't go around. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's shocking that he would. How can you question Lopez's stamina? That's the one thing after that fight. He dug down in the championship round, which still I think of 15. That's how old I am. I always have to remind myself it's only 12. Isn't that crazy? I still do after this today, dude. Sometimes I'll say the 12 round to this day. I'm like, good, they still got 3 to go. Oh, shit, that's right. I hate it. I still wish it was 15. But anyways, dude, that's when you see the real champions.
Yeah. Hey, he dug down, man, because who's ever come back against Lomachenko after he started drowning guys? Exactly. Whoever rallied back to win a round from him, nobody did. Teofimo won that one.
Exactly. He showed crazy stamina, dude. He grabbed the second win at the right time.
The right time,
yeah. If these boxers are getting paid that much money and there's no crowds and they're still demanding to get paid, okay, make it a 15-round fight.
Oh. Well,
remember, they got rid of that for 2. They got rid of that because they were doing 15-round fights on same-day weigh-ins.
Oh, yeah.
Weighing in that morning, fighting that night, 15 rounds. That's why a lot of people, even myself, you forget how much harder it was on those dudes. and how much more often they fought.
Jimmy, remember Gamache Gatti? I was rewatching that fight because somebody posted it 60 frames per second, high definition on YouTube. And I'm watching that, and fucking Gatti looked like a middleweight. And Gamache showed up there looking like a fucking lightweight. It was disgusting. It was that ruined what little career Gamache had left at that point. Or maybe he would have had more left. I don't know. But man, this fucking... And I was watching... what was the fight? It was an old middleweight fight. I forget. I think it was Donald Curry or Bruce Curry. And there were actual fucking welterweights.
Yeah, Donald Curry.
Same day weighing 15 rounds, and there were welterweights. Meanwhile, now you look at a welterweight today, he's essentially a middleweight. It's crazy. It's ludicrous. And I'm not going to have it.
They just manipulate the weight. People are still... They've actually had more people die since they've done that same day, because people are doing diuretics. I've seen guys have to be practically carried up to the weight scale. You couldn't do that on same day weigh-ins. You couldn't be a weight bully like that. You just couldn't. If you were that drained, because you only grow muscle tissue only repairs itself while you sleep, while you're in REM sleep, the twitchy eye. So that's why it's important to get that while you're training hard. But anyways, so now what they do is they fucking skeletize themselves, diuretics, everything. Then they get out and they whack themselves an IV right away to refill the fluids. Whale down a jar of fucking parental all fruit for the electrolytes and just start chowing pasta and steak. Boom, 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 all fucking night, dude. And then they sleep 8 hours and they put on 15, 20 pounds. Like a sponge. You'll see it just suck it right up. And it's more manipulation now. Back then, it was true to your weight. That's why I didn't see guys jump around like they do nowadays. You couldn't do it. That's why it was a big deal to do 4 weight classes.
Exactly.
That's a good point, Jimmy. Because you can jump around, get more titles and different weight classes. Hey, BDA, remember Sean Porter last year when he cut his hair? I thought that was hella funny.
Oh, yeah.
He cut his braids off.
It wasn't against Ugas?
I think so.
Yeah, it was.
That was against Ugas.
Yeah,
another thing that blows my mind nowadays, bids. Letting guys fight with bids.
Yeah.
Broner and shit. They let them fight. They never would have allowed that back in the day.
Lomachenko fought with a beard against Teofimo.
Yep. Well, what it is, but you could have a gruff, but you couldn't have stuff that could hide different gels that could get in somebody else's eyes. That's what they would worry about.
It's like having extra padding, right? Extra padding instead of like getting hit with like a 10-ounce glove. It could be like a little bit more, because you got that extra padding.
Of course. And if you have a kinky beard, if you have a tight kinky beard, of course it's extra padding, and it'll prevent cuts.
Yeah.
I know. So that's why I was like, wow, that was shocked.
I know for a fact that here in the amateur system here in Canada, big beards are a no-no. I told a guy once, I said, listen, say you're Muslim and that it's part of your religion. That way they won't force you to cut it. But even that didn't work. They're pretty strict on big beards. But apparently in the professional ranks now, it's, hey, anything goes, man. Like Badu Jack had Lamont Peterson was one that had that fucking hobo beard. I know when he was younger, he was homeless, but fuck, he went back to the roots which fight was it? He had a big-ass beard. And I'm thinking, well, anyway, I forget which one, but the point is...
Wasn't that the one where his uncle punched that Ugas in the face?
No, that was Darrell's uncle. And then they said he was senile. And that's what
it was probably when he was taking that extra testosterone when he grew that beard.
Yeah, probably, man. Probably. But, man, listen, we were talking about De La Hoya earlier. He wants to come back against Golovkin, blah, blah, blah. So he was probably just trying to get to Canelo. But if De La Hoya wants to come back, why doesn't he come back against Felix Trinidad? Make a fight against somebody at his level. I mean, coming back against one of the best middleweights in the world, that's just insane. But if he does come back against Golovkin, maybe he should grow a beard. Maybe that'll help him. He won't get knocked out. What else was I going to say? Okay, so listen. Joyce, Dubois, prediction. You all made your prediction. I'm going to go with fucking Dubois, man. I'm going to go for a long shot here, and I'm going to assume that he goes to the distance and he can bank enough rounds. I think the judges might be more impressed with his ooh-la-la punches, as I call them. The more impressive shots. And I think Joyce is going to take him. He's just going to walk him down. But at the end of the day, the judges are going to prefer Dubois' work. I'm expecting a good fight.
Yeah. One question. How are you going on a long shot and he's the favorite?
No, for long shot, because I don't know if he can. I don't know if he's the favorite. For me, he's not the favorite. I think it's a very close fight.
Favorite, man. He's up 3-1.
I know the bookies.
The favorite guy.
Yeah, the bookies have him as a favorite, but you know, me and the bookies, we don't get along, man. Especially since that. Anyway, the point. I'm not gonna get into the past history, but the point is that I'm looking forward to the fight, man, and I'm going with the long shot. I'm gonna take a risk. You know me. I live a life with danger. Gonzalo had Joyce. D has Joyce. Recognized has Dubois. Bucho, I think, has Dubois as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bucho.
Yeah, no. Yep, Dubois.
Okay. And Jimmy, you had
Dubois.
What the fuck was that?
He's a Dubois fan, BDA. You could tell that.
No, he's not a fuck. Jimmy, you had.
Dude, to be honest with you, I didn't make it, but I don't even know enough of those two. It would be a still. Could I text it to you in an hour or two? I'd like to look at a couple of the videos first, just because I really have a very close look at them. I don't know much about them.
Yeah, and by the way, we also have Daniel Jacobs taking on Rosado. Now, Jacobs, by the way, was fucking. He went at Rosado a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. I forget where I saw it. And he actually told Rosado, says, "Hey, man, thank you for taking this fight because it's going to be easy. You're not on my level." I said, ooh, that's, he's right. I mean, Rosado's, Bucho said, like, oh, man, he's just going to bust Rosado up, probably stopping him cuts or something if he doesn't knock him out. Sulensky, who's a good fighter but not a big puncher, he was piecing Rosado up. So, fellas, how do you see that fight going, real quick?
It's an easy win for Jacobs, man.
It is. They're finally getting a fight for him to actually win easy. You know what I mean? Because he always does just enough to lose in the big fights. So they're gonna give him this kid's not even a gatekeeper. And he wears glasses in interviews, which drives me crazy.
Journeyman. He's lost about 10 times. A lot of his fights were close. Maybe he deserved to be on the winning end of some of those. He's got a little bit of power. I don't know. Maybe I think that Jacobs, sometimes he's fought scared to where he's won fights on the points. If he gets too confident, he can get clipped like he did against Pirog. So he better be careful. I mean, I know that Rosado put Quillen on spaghetti legs, so we got to see.
Quillen had a bad chin.
I'm gonna take Gonzalo's maybe and say maybe he doesn't get knocked out Rosado and goes 12 rounds and loses on the scorecards.
The guy that might could get clipped is fucking Jacobs, because he's been put on spaghetti. He's gotten hurt before.
Well, look, Rosado did hurt.
I don't see it happening, but
Rosado he can punch a little bit more now that he could be. I mean, he did hurt what's his name, Jillian Love. He hurt Kid Chocolate, and he did hurt Sulensky. But none of those guys are necessarily the most durable guys out there. And I think even Andrade dropped Sulensky, I think. So it's not like he's a fucking Golovkin in there or Danny Garcia type chin. But I will say that
Jacobs is gonna work this pool.
Yeah, Jacobs is on another level. Look at the wins he's had. Fucking Derevchenko. He had Sulensky as well. Luis Arias totally fucking outclassed him. What other big win am I missing? Don't say Chavez Jr., please.
He exposed Kid Chocolate.
Kid Chocolate in one round. Yeah, so definitely Jacobs. And he went 12 good rounds against Golovkin and Canelo. Meanwhile, Rosado. Look, I like Rosado. The guy's got balls, man, but this is a stay busy fight for Jacobs as I'm concerned. As far as I'm
concerned. To be fair, let me say one thing about Rosado. He got robbed against Arias. He won that fight.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
When you come out of a fight and you're Gabe Rosado and you've got no cuts on you, you won.
That's a great point. But, hey, who won the Rosado Murray fight? I forget that one.
I can't remember. That's such a nobody fight that I don't care.
I think Murray won, but it was like bullshit.
Hold on, let me check that. Let me check it out. I forget. Nobody remembers.
I think Murray won, I think, but yeah, he got robbed maybe.
I think most people thought he got robbed.
That's only fair. Murray got robbed against Martinez.
Yeah, he lost to Murray. Yeah, he lost to Murray.
And he beat this kid Felix Sturm in Spain and what Germany? Excuse me, but they called it a draw.
All right.
So go ahead, BD.
No, you go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No,
So
you go
he
ahead.
heard Jacobs. He's put down. Sergio Mora put down Jacobs, right? And he's been dropped before. He got knocked out by Pirog, and he's been on the canvas before. And I mean, Rosado has hurt guys in the past, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, man. Look, listen. It's there's an element of danger. This is professional boxing, but if Jacobs goes in there and he's sharp, I don't see Rosado doing much, man. I think he's gonna get pieced up in there.
But he's gonna bleed a lot.
Yeah. But that's not necessarily a knock on Rosado. That's just how good Jacobs is. I mean, the guy's a top 3. He was a top 3 middleweight. Now he's at what weight is
anybody excited for this fight?
I'm looking forward.
Was anybody looking forward to this, or had it in their their mind saying, "Oh, it would be a good fight"? It's just, is it because there's really nobody that can get to fight the kid better than Rosado right now? You can't get better rounds.
That's a good point.
I don't know about you guys, but I've always wanted to see this fight.
I don't know if I believe you, brother. This is one of the big ones, all year long.
You motherfuckers are being sarcastic. Listen, the point is this, man. It's a nice little stay busy fight on a Friday. Then we got Joyce Dubois on the Saturday. I'm not even gonna watch Jones Tyson on the internet because I don't want to take away money from them. I'm not interested, and I think I gotta wake up early the next day, so I'm not gonna stay up for that one.
So many dudes that are my age, so they grew up around the Tyson era. They're so excited for this fight. I'm like, you guys are fucking weird.
It goes to show how desperate the casuals are, dude, for fucking boxing.
No, these dudes are boxing fans. Like they don't like today's boxing. I guess.
They long for yesteryear's boxing styles, man.
Yeah.
When I mean, there was always some ducking going on, but not to because you just couldn't get away with it. It was just too many. When there's too many guys behind you pushing, it's just you don't get away with it.
And they're breaking down the fight, how it's gonna go down. Like, dude, you do realize that both of these guys are in their 50s. Like, they don't fight the way they used to.
Yeah.
You probably have earpieces in. Somebody's gonna remind them of the fucking plot.
And there's a whole bunch of rules with the fucking 12-ounce gloves and no knockouts, no judges. I mean, they're trying not to get, because they know that if somebody gets hurt, it's lawsuit time. That's the United States is the land.
Yeah, I didn't realize Bernard Hopkins is 55. He's gonna be 56. God damn.
Jeez, Luis. When you're Bernard Hopkins and you've been fighting for 55 years, like I have, that's my Bernard Hopkins impression. Listen, the other thing is, it's a pretty good impression. The other thing about this fight is, what do you mean it's horrible? It was a good one. Hey, recognize. What was
I agree with thee.
Wait, come on, man. You can't talk to me this way. What's the matter with you?
I want to play. You was fantastic.
How dare you?
All right, listen. The point is
this,
man.
Stu's on the show. Was that Stu? What's up, Stu?
Yeah, that was Stu, man.
They all sound the same.
Teofimo's a great fighter. Teofimo's a great fighter.
Lobito! Shut up. Lobito!
Hey, yo, Mr. BDA!
Come on in here, motherfuckers!
All right, listen, I'm just playing whatever I have here. What was I going to say, man? All right, so listen, that's what we got. But don't worry about it, fellas. After this, let me put up the schedule here. Some people are saying, mediocre week of boxing. Hey, it's boxing. You know you're going to watch it because you're a bunch of junkies.
You guys that say that, you're lucky to be getting anything.
That's right.
To be fair, that Joyce Dubois fight could turn out to be probably one of the best heavyweight fights we'll see this year.
There you go.
Hope so, man. I hope. Yeah, Mark. I hope that's true, man. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm going with Dubois. Whatever the fuck his name is, but I'm not too sure. Man. I'll be honest.
A lot of people are looking at this as a 50-50 fight. Like, I mean,
I see it that way.
Hey, yo, Mr. BDA, hold on. I'm gonna drop like a screenshot for you here.
Go ahead.
I took a poll, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a poll over on my. Well, I did the poll when I was stripping, but I also dropped the poll. And, yeah, I dropped the poll over on my channel, and over 270 votes, and you'll see like right there in the Discord chat how close this is.
All right, hold on a second. Let me save this and put it on the. All right, so this just explain to us. This is a poll of what? Of your show?
Of Dubois versus Joyce and who wins.
All right, so we got this is a Mark's poll over at Unrivaled Boxing Talk. 14%. You want to read it or you want me to do it?
You can do it. You can read.
Why are you being patronizing? Like, oh no, you can do it. You're smart enough. Is that what you're saying?
No, if it was Bucho, I'd read it. But since it's you, you got this.
Hey,
Who put this thing together? Me.
You got
That's
it, buddy.
who.
All right, I'll do it. 14% are picking Joyce by points. Okay, Joyce by stoppage 38%, Dubois by points 6%, Dubois stoppage 40%, and a draw 3%. All right, so this is interesting. Joyce stoppage 38%, Dubois stoppage 40%. So most people are expecting a stoppage either way. It's pretty freaking close. 38%, 40%. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Huh?
52% of the vote is leaning towards Joyce.
Yeah, you can see that, man. Huh? Like I was saying at the beginning of the show, Mark, it's most people are going one way or the other. It's either or. It's either Joyce gets him late or Dubois gets him early. That seems to be the narrative going in.
I hope these are not like the election polls, right? Where they don't say the truth.
BDA, who'd you say Steve's behind again?
Steve Kim is big on Dubois.
Dubois. Oh, yeah,
yeah, he thinks it's the future of the heavyweight division. Mark, who are you picking?
We were asking him. No, was it him or
No, it was
the other
Steve Kim.
guy's name?
I think it was Steve. Oh, actually, you're right. No, yeah, we did ask both Steve Kim and Fisher, and I think it was Steve Kim who said he wasn't.
Dougie Fisher, yep.
But I think it was Steve Kim, the one who said that he wasn't high on. No, I think you're right. Fisher wasn't high on.
Dougie Fisher said that
Hrgović
Steve
and
Kim is big on Dubois. He's big on him,
and he's not big on Hrgović. I think he said, but
yeah, he didn't really think much of Hrgović, which.
His name's Dubois everywhere else because we're in the Northeast. I think we'd call him Dubois.
Yeah,
it's
in Dubois.
That's how you
Dubois.
pronounce
it.
Okay.
It's spelled Dubois, I believe.
Dubois.
Yeah.
IS, yeah. Around the country, I hear most people around the country calling him Dubois, and then people in the Northeast calling him Dubois.
It's Dubois.
It's Dubois, yeah.
It's French.
Doesn't Canelo have something on his trunks? I think one of his sponsors, Roger Dubois or Dubois, something like that too. You haven't seen that, Roger Dubois?
Yeah, I think Canelo's more French than he is Mexican. To be honest.
Oh, wait a minute. You better watch it.
He's more Irish than he is anything, and we don't want him.
Oh, come on. Now, wait a minute. Now, this is turning into a...
No, you keep him. Keep him.
It's turning into a bash fest here, and I'm not going to have it. All right?
Half Irish.
Yeah, let's leave it at half Irish. All right, listen, fellas. We're going to end it. Got to go. But thank you for joining us. Really appreciate... Wait, hold on. Mark, what was your prediction for Dubois, Joyce? I didn't get it.
I'll give it to you in paper, bro. I bet money on the fight.
No kidding.
Yeah, there you go. That's my exact bet. You have it there. If you want, you can put it on screen. Keep it for yourself.
Well, hold on. I can't see it. Oh, okay, there it is. Hide the bet. Receive. Joy's round stoppage 10 between the rounds 10 and 12. Is that? Do I have it correct?
Yep, 25-1 odds on it. 30 down, 780 return.
All right. Oh, geez, Luis. So, Mark's putting it on the line, man. You're starting to worry me a little bit there. You bet on Lopez Lomachenko too. I think you bet on another fight, and now this one. What's going on here?
780 off of 30 rounds 10 to 12.
Whoa.
Jeez, that's a hard bet to pass up on though. Just for it's good money for $35, you know.
Yeah,
well,
man.
That's pounds though. It's 35 pounds though, right for you?
30 euro returns.
That's
euro. Yeah, so 750 plus my stake, so 780.
Jeez,
euro.
Luis.
That's right. So you're in Ireland. Sorry, right?
Well, look, it's gonna be interesting for sure, man. I'm gonna be keeping an eye on it. I'm excited for it. Two big heavyweights.
Wasn't there a shootout in the weigh-in in a boxing fight in Ireland? Like at the weigh-in, there was a shootout.
Yeah. That was the MTK and the Hutch feud and everything. Yeah.
That's right up Recognizes alley. Recognize. Do you have? Because
the one thing you could say about Ireland, America's never done that before.
Well, y'all know how they did that, right? A dude ran up there dressed with a woman's wig and a dress and snuck in there and started shooting up the place dressed as a tranny.
Yo, recognize
y'all think you have gangsters till you fuck with the tranny gangsters.
But you know what's fucked up though? Can I say something real quick? Just a side note, because I'm older than you guys. I remember growing up as a kid in the '70s watching. If somebody back then would have said, "What's the most dangerous country?" I would have said Ireland without a doubt. I watched the IRA, fucking the Orange Man, and the battle in the prison they put those guys in. I watched. I mean, they would have it on the news every night. It was crazy. That was where the war was happening, pretty much around the world. So. It's weird because I always thought Ireland is kind of a violent place because of that. My perception has been warped because of that, I think.
I'll be honest with you. It is violent, depending where you go, but for the most part, there's too many of these little... how do I put it without getting us demonetized? Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't just say it.
I don't have to worry about it. Essentially, my country is full of faggots.
Oh,
bitches who've been fucking turned into pussies because of the other generation getting weaker and weaker and weaker and more scared to fucking speak their minds. Bunch of bitches.
Hey, Mark, when I was younger, I remember like the one of the hood legends are, you know how like wherever city you in, they brag about another city. How you think we bad? Go to Compton or whatever the fuck. But we used to talk about some of the guys used to talk about Ireland. They're like, "Yo, the toughest white dudes in the world, go to Ireland, try to talk that shit." And I'm like, and then I think about it. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that? You never been there before.
Well, they had like Bobby Sands. I mean, I remember he died. They used to they would starve themselves to death in prison. That was always on the news. It was crazy.
Yeah. You know what? Recognize if you want to find out why, come over here. You'll find it.
I've seen the protesters jumping the fence at the airport in Ireland. That was crazy. Recognize when you mentioned that there was a shooting in Ireland, it's crazy because there was also one in Sacramento in a boxing event. It was like yesterday.
Oh, California? Yeah, that's not.
That too.
Hey, Gonzalo, a shooting in California does not shock me at all.
But that was a boxing event as well. Anyways, go ahead.
Is that the one where the cop shot the guy dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh wait! I didn't hear about this. So what happened? He was in a boxing event, and he pulled out a gun in the arena.
Well, it was like almost. It seemed like two buildings side by side. It was almost the size of a hockey rink or a roller skating rink type places, and they had like garage doors open, and the crowd was inside there. And I guess this Hispanic dude was in the parking lot area, pointing a gun in, and so the people outside were running around cars kind of hiding, and then when he walked back towards the arena, somebody fired from there. You see flashes, boom, boom, boom. So the kid out in the parking lot returned a shot. Just then a cop was behind him and unloaded his gun into him. He didn't even see the cop behind him, so that sucked.
Who was it? One time somebody called in, like had the open lines, and somebody called in and said, "Yeah, hi, my name is blah blah blah. I'm from Oakland," and I heard one of you say, "Sorry to hear that." I forget who it was. You motherfuckers were from California, but fuck. Oh, yeah, by the way, yeah, it was probably you, man. And by the way, why you changed your profile now? What is that? Is that something out of a comic book? What is it?
That's me on the elevator shaft.
Is that really you?
No, I'm just kidding.
That just looks like a person's having sex with a ghost on an elevator shaft. Look at that. Looks like missionary. Yeah. Oh my god!
He's the elevator rapist.
That's Deontay Wilder twerking on an elevator shaft.
Do you know what we call him? Do you know what we call him? We call him the shaft.
He reaches down into the fucking escape hatch and he snatches women up and brings them up there.
Oh, the snatch hatch! I like it. Let's go.
Ah, there you go, brother. Perfect. The snatch hatch.
All right, listen, we gotta go. Thank you, fellas, for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one, probably in a.
Hey, all you guys have a good one, man. Have a good one tomorrow.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Eat whatever you guys want to eat.
Don't let the cops bust through your door.
That's
you have
right.
too many people
cops,
over.
If you got more than 6 people in your house,
wear your masks.
Tell them to hide.
Good night, guys.
Burn your masks. Burn them. Burn your masks, and anybody who can ask you to wear one, set them on fire too.
Bingo. Thank you, Mark. Sheep. Fucking shit. Thank you.
There's not a whole hell of a lot of turkeys here in the Philippines, but we have a lot of dogs.
All right.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. On that note, peace.
Jeez, Luis.
Fuck out of here.
Somebody tries to come into your house, this is what you do.
Fuck out of here. Fuck all you motherfuckers. Fuck
That's
you.
right. That's right, Kevin from Chicago.
You're in the wrong fucking city, you fucking scumbag.
All right, listen,
Right.
fellas.
I'm telling you, that's Kevin from Chicago. I'm telling you, that's him.
All right. Anyway, listen, thank you for joining us, everybody. Really appreciate it. Before we take it easy, man. Take it easy. Take care. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to Tony Boswell and Mr. E for donating via the super chat. Thank you guys to really keep the show going. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you haven't done so already, spread the BDA gospel. We're going to be back next week also. We're probably going to do an episode in between, but next week for sure, Wednesday, film analysis for the preview of Garcia Spence, which is going to be taking place on December the 5th, I believe. So check that one out next week. Come on in, bring your predictions, because we're going to bring it heavy. I also want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room, everybody who joined us, everybody who called in. Vince Vegas, Ringside Charlie, James Thornton, Norman Luis, the Mr. Coxie, Jet Kyle, White Devil, Jordan Campani, Elias Tufefix, jeez Luis, Steve Schneider, Kevin from Chicago, shout out from Kevin, Vince Vegas, Andres Hernandez, Wesley M, PSK, Padja, Darth Vapor, Official Scorecard Boxing, Enoch Powell. If I forgot anybody, I gotta go. Thank you guys for joining us. Always grateful for your contribution, for your viewership. We'll see you on the next one, fellas. Take it easy. Thank you for watching.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Then let me tell you why.
It's gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He's just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lobito! You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.